My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
And on today's show, we have very special guest, Minister of Social Media, Vero. Welcome.
Hi.
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 Hi. And we have our Minister of Japanese Cinema, very specific skill set here. We have Joey Weiser, Eisner Award nominated author of Merman, Dragon Racer, Ghost Hog, and more. Joey, how's it going?
Good, thanks. Yeah, all those titles together, but most importantly, the Minister of Japanese Cinema. Yeah, I'll take it. Although I don't think that's deserved.
Right? Yeah. Oh no, I guess Godhead. I don't know why I thought Minister. I guess I was thinking of Fishman Island, the Minister of the Left Minister.
I share a birthday with one of those guys, one of those ministers of the left or right. I don't remember which one.
That's amazing.
You gotta be the one that sounds like Dr. Dugong in the English dub. Queen Tahiti, the gentle cuttlefish.
Cuttlefish are awesome, by the way. Anyway, did not think we were starting the podcast like this. There's a lot I want to mention here at the top, so please don't skip this segment if you usually do. First, do you want the bad news or the good news first, Steve?
Yeah, don't they say always take the good news first, because you should never feel good about anything, and you got to be reminded how we live in a very depressing, crushing world.
Who says that?
I heard it. The bad news?
Okay, I'll start with the bad news. One Piece is going to be off for the next month. And the reasoning is, we were all wondering, is that Eiichiro Oda is getting laser eye surgery.
Eyes?
Pew, pew.
You mean eyeballs?
Silly Tuku. Yeah, no, it's very... I'm very actually excited for him to go through this. Not just because, as he says, he'll have laser beams shooting from his eyes after this. I believe that's one of the side effects for LASIK. But,
yippee! That sounds like fun.
But he will also hopefully be able to draw in more detail. I think everyone, when they hit a certain age, which I'm very close to hitting, will need glasses at some point in their life, and so LASIK, I think, is something that enters. I'm not going to make this into an ad for LASIK, but
we should make an ad for laser topographical eyeball corneal laser reshaping.
Thank you, Steve. You and Maddie really appreciate this joke, and I mean I do too, but I don't know if anyone else does. But good luck to Eiichiro Oda. What are we gonna do though for the month? And this is the good news. We have a lot planned for you all.
Well, hopefully we won't be taking as many sleepy time feel good pills as Oda during this.
That's true. Although
we could good and see how the podcast sounds.
First, this is related to what we'll be doing over the next month. The big news over this week is that our frequent guest, friend of the show, Henry Thurlow, is going to be the first foreign animation director for One Piece for episode 56 or 66.
66. It's the next 66. Episode. I believe next week is a recap episode.
Yeah. I think it's off next. It's either a recap or it's off next week. So we will have him on for not one, but 2 episodes coming up. Henry Thurlow will be joining us next week to begin hyping the episode, which I believe will feature the Law and Kid versus Big Mom fight in the anime. And then on the 25th, we will have a full-length Henry Thurlow segment, which is only slightly longer than our usual podcast, I would think. So please tune in for that. Again, those segments will be next week on the 19th, and the following week on the 26th. We also next week, I am proud to announce, and has been in the works for some time, we are launching our One Piece Netflix live action series with a little bit of a crossover episode not to get too confusing here. But Vero and Steve will be helming our One Piece live-action Netflix series.
Experience.
Experience? We haven't thought of a title yet, if that's not clear.
This is all a ploy for me to talk to Taz Skylar. That's the only reason I'm doing this.
I know.
Yeah.
I know it is. You said that specifically.
Yeah.
You said, Zach, if you ever do a live-action Netflix podcast, please let me on only so I could speak to Taz Skylar and then see him.
Yeah, and Emily. So.
Oh, and
And
Emily.
me.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's enough mediocre white man opinions out there about television and pop culture. So I thought this was my chance.
Finally,
That's okay.
mediocre
You can say you
white
want to
man.
talk to.
Yeah, like it's like this is kind of just like, kind of like a, soft launch. We've always wanted to cover this live action. We were just finding the right way to do it, and I think we've got something good planned. But I think as of right now, this announcement is, hey, we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
We're not going to ignore the live action when it comes out. No.
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 So if don't waste your piece together questions on whether or not we're going to cover the live action. We plan to. We're in the stages of just figuring out how we want to go about it. But
Which I think we hammered out. I'm not going to announce it here because I want to tie anyone's hand to anything, and I know Steve is burning with his laser vision a hole in his computer telling me not to say too much. But I won't, except to say that this will be next week. God, my time is all wobbly at the moment. But next week, it'll be Steve and Vero hosting that segment with hopefully myself and other folks. Ed, I hope, will also join, and others in the main part of the podcast to talk about what's been announced so far in the live action, and also to say that the Netflix event in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, called, thank you, that's it, Tudum. I assume, however you pronounce the Netflix,
It's the Netflix
sound
noise,
effect. Yeah.
Man, when I first saw that, everyone types it in all caps, and I thought it was an acronym for something, and it's like, no, it's the
No, you have to
sound
yell
effect.
Is that what it is? That's kind of cute.
Yeah, I think it is kind of cute, but you have to yell
I think
it.
it's
like
dumb.
Tudum is Tudum. Sorry, it took me like a minute to get that really bad joke. That shows you how tired I am at the moment. But they will be holding an event. I know Iñaki was on that, the future actor, live action actor for Luffy, was on that reel. So I assume some really cool stuff is going to be coming out of that. I know the whole cast is supposed to be there.
Yeah, the cast is going to be there.
Fight.
So.
Yeah, I know Emily mentioned it. I think the rest. Emily and the rest. Yes. I mean, so we look forward to that. And I'm sure we'll have a lot to discuss because we haven't really had the opportunity to really talk about the live action here too much since it was first announced in 2017, I think. So
that's
looking
wild.
forward to that.
Oda said in the
comment.
in the author
Go
comments
ahead, Ed.
today, he said that he's been working. This live action is something that we've been working on when we were working on Film Red and on Stampede.
Yeah, so Stampede, that's been a while.
Yes.
So if you're keeping track, so we've discussed what we were doing for the first 2 weeks of the break. Henry Thurlow and the One Piece live action, then just Henry Thurlow the following week. What are we doing the last 2 weeks since it's a 4-week break? On July 2nd, the plan is to have a roundtable with 3 voice actors. Steve, am I putting you on the spot? Do you want to name the characters that will be appearing on our roundtable discussion?
no,
Okay, so you want me to do
because I
it?
don't know. Yes.
Yes, you do. You helped plan that. Okay, he forgot. King, Queen, and Jack will be joining us.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh my God. Steve was like one of the impetuses for this, so I don't really understand why he forgot.
So are we starting over? Do I need to clap? Make sure that we sync
No,
back
you're
up
good.
again?
You're good, Joey. Thank you.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you, Zach. I zoned out for a moment. So what was the question?
I don't have a good. Okay, so we have We have Bill Butts, Gabe Kunda, and Major Attaway joining us. Three awesome voice actors. Steve, maybe now that you're totally tuned in and listening to me, you could tell your thoughts on whether or not you're excited for this roundtable discussion.
It's good.
We haven't done it yet.
Should be fun. Yeah. Yeah, it's something kind of like we set up a while back. Yeah, we should be in the process of recording that soon. I don't know if
the next few weeks
we're recording. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're recording. We might be recording that outside our normal record time, but it should be fun. You know, Bill is a friend of mine, and was able to set it up through him, and he's a sweetheart. So I think all of you, the world, will like Bill too, and his friends.
I'm excited. It's
actors.
like I think it's like
characters.
It's one of our first like roundtables we've done since like 2010. So I'm excited for voice actors. So I'm excited to do that. Plus they all have amazing voices. And they're
cool names.
And cool names. They do all have really cool names. I mean, without a doubt. And I'm not just talking about King, Queen, and Jack, obviously. Jack, you know. We're not going to do that here right now. So for the last week of the break, we're going to come back with an SGS with Steven and Greg. And obviously this chapter has a lot to dissect and talk about. So we'll do that when we're preparing to read the next chapter and when there's a lot of hype to it coming back. Any questions here? Any comments? Anyone? Steve, you look like you're pensively looking at me.
Zach, that's really unfair to talk about what I look like on this audio podcast. That is not important.
No, I'm painting a word picture of what your face looks like.
Listeners, he's squinting.
I always squint.
Yeah, I was going to say that is literally the thing he always does.
And
few
now
other
the world
little
knows more about my shifty eyes. So.
One little other piece of news. Viz announced the release of two new manga One Piece related coming out. Shokugeki no Sanji, which Stephen Vero, I'm sure, Vero particularly, I think, very excited for that.
Yeah, it's going on the shelf.
Except that one chapter.
That's nice.
Except
I
that one
like that
chapter.
comic.
I'm going to tear it out.
Yeah, with some exceptions. I liked that comic a lot. I thought it was pretty cool. And I thought, you know, the Shokugeki artist was relatively reined in if you're not into the like fan service aspects of Food Wars, you know. But it was really fun, and it really like highlighted a single member of the crew, you know, who doesn't always get the spotlight. So it was cool.
He had a whole arc about. He had two whole arcs about him. I think
Not
Sanji
always.
gets this. Okay, well. Plus, he has like all of his fans on this podcast. There's also going to be the Ace novel, the graphic version that Boichi, the artist for Dr. Stone, did. Any of you guys looking forward to that? Excited? Have thoughts about it?
You know my thoughts, Zach.
Yeah, we've
I
been
know.
clear about this.
Yeah, but
Okay,
not the biggest fans in this particular roster of the One Piece podcast.
Is there a
I
roster?
might buy it just to put it on the shelf next to my Ace novels that I haven't read yet. So
You're gonna have that's gonna be the portion of the shelf you
Yeah.
have not touched.
yeah, it's on the to read bookshelf, not the have read bookshelf.
Understood.
Good to have aspirations.
And
Yeah.
one more thing we're going to be doing over the next month, we're going to have a lot of anime recaps. We do not have one tonight, but we do have a manga recap for chapter 1086, which I guess we could get into right after these messages.
Let's do it.
We'll be right back.
This is the manga recap for chapter 1086, The Five Elders. This chapter and all chapters are available at shonenjump.viz.com and mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp as soon as they come out legally worldwide. And, well, not for the next month, but we'll worry about that later. Ed, what's going on the cover of Shonen Jump?
We got Vice Admiral Garp and his two grandsons.
The one he cares
He only
about, and the one he doesn't.
Yeah,
Not the ones you're thinking of.
yeah, it's Luffy, Ace, and Kobe. They're posing all tough, which is a
Luffy,
contrast
Ace,
to
and Kobe. I don't think
Luffy-
This is an alternate
Luffy,
timeline.
Luffy, Garp, and Kobe. Sorry.
There you go.
Yeah, but as a contrast to the color spread this week.
Yeah,
I-
this
yeah.
one's all right. Like the last jump cover was so good.
Oh yeah, that was.
That
Yeah.
I feel like that one I was like, wow, I don't feel like the One Piece jump covers have been this good in a long time. And then this kind of like returns back to, big drawing of Luffy, and then it's kind of interesting the two characters that he chose to depict on this cover.
yeah.
It's based on what was happening in the manga last month, like a month ago.
Yeah.
Can
I
I
was about to say.
Can I also? I don't think it was brought up last week. Correct me if I'm wrong, Stephen Ed. But is Monkey D. Garp the only D in the Navy? Don't.
Besides
Well, not
Saul.
anymore. But I mean,
Saul, that's
Saul
true.
was. He is now, perhaps that we know of.
Well, Saul's not in the Navy anymore. Anyway,
Joey, what
but
was the cover last week? I forgot.
that? Wasn't last week. That was a few weeks.
It
ago,
was
last
right?
Luffy on the throne with the skull.
Yeah,
Mhm.
with him making that good face.
Oh yeah. Now I remember. Okay.
Yeah. It just had a lot of really cool attitude, and like the line work and stuff was like really good, and like the coloring was great. It was very kind of like, it wasn't as like, this is very clean looking, which is great.
Yeah.
But it feels less kind of like artsy fartsy than the last one, I guess.
But I am enjoying, and I think I talked about this back when he did the Four Emperors color spread. Like, he's using a lot more colors for the shading, and sometimes he's using some like off colors, which are really interesting. Like,
And
on
Luffy
Luffy's
always has
fist here-
his rosy little cheeks. He's got...
Yeah.
Yes, but like he's like, it looks like a, I don't know if it's like a gray or just like a lavender, and then like a red mixed in there with the shadows. It just pops. It doesn't, like, it's a 2-dimensional drawing, but it feels a lot more 3-dimensional with those details there. He's definitely been experimenting more, or just trying new techniques, because this is not how he used to color.
Yeah, the colors are like super thick looking, like
Yeah.
Luffy's shirt is like so saturated, and then the like little bits of highlights like really make it pop. So yeah, I'm not saying it's bad for sure. I just it's really good. I
just more
was kind
standard.
of
It's
more
par for the
wowed
course.
by the style of the previous one.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on the cover? Otherwise, color spread. Ed.
All right, so we got a happy little color spread. No rain, no rainbow, and look at the middle of this. Sanji Vero, correct me if I'm wrong, but Sanji is baby girl in this.
Oh, he's adorable. I think the fact that Oda forgot the beard, bumped him up less skeevy and more just precious.
He might have just shaved that day,
Yeah. He's got the
This
wavy
is-
hair going on. It's perfect.
Longer than usual, looks like.
A humidity.
It's the
does that.
humidity.
Yeah. Joey.
And so this is based on a reader request for Chopper and a cat crossing a rainbow reflected in a puddle. And Sanji is baby girling over trying to keep Luffy from jumping in this puddle and ruining Chopper's time. He's about to splash him up.
Don't.
And here's
Stop.
and Nami is getting a towel from Frog from Toad and Frog, the acclaimed kids show that I've watched 8 times.
Yeah, I love
With
this
or
so
without
much.
your son?
Frog and Toad.
With or without
Both.
your son?
It
Zach?
is great. It is the gayest television
Pride
show.
Month.
It's great. It is really a wonderful show that I recommend people watch, even if they're not kids. It is a good Pride Month show, I think. Legit.
I'll watch it with my roommate.
You did?
No, I said I will on
You
your
should.
recommendation. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like chill.
Sarah and I are going to be there being like, oh my God, they're so us. That's
Like, if I smoked weed, I would do that for that show. Like, that's like, I feel like the kind of aesthetic.
You can't relate to a show unless you smoke weed.
No, I just feel like it's such a chill, like you could really zone out with it. Like people used to watch Planet Earth with weed all the time, I remember. You see,
Yes,
I like all
people.
those shows, Ed. I meant to say Ed. But I like those shows without that. Any other, sorry, I got off on a tangent there. Any other
I have
thoughts?
a ton to say about this. This is so good. I love this spread. It felt very appropriate for me personally because it's been raining like crazy here. And I was like, oh, wow, a perfect spread for a rainy day. And I love the colors in this. I was really like, I watched the process video this morning before this came out, and I was very curious how he was going to handle the reflections because they're such a major part of the composition. And it's a way, like, reflections, like, if you're going to just very solidly draw everyone, it might, like, make it look very cluttered. But he does it with this sort of, like, more abstract, slightly more faded color palette that, like, looks really beautiful. I like Frankie's umbrella hair. There's just so much good stuff going on in this.
Yeah, and have we gotten a rainy day color spread? And like, I'm just having trouble thinking.
Ever or recently?
Well, I mean, I know
Because-
the answer recently. I'm trying to think of ever. And Steve, you kind of
Yeah.
are our encyclopedia, which
We definitely have. I'm not about to do the research, but if you think this manga that's been going on for how many years now?
no, that's why it struck me because I'm like, this is such a simple concept that I can't remember having been done, certainly recently. Just the Straw Hats on a Rainy Day.
The easy answer is yes, it's been done.
I mean, it was such a like nice concept, and I was it was interesting to see that it was actually a pretty well laid out fan request that gave Oda the like jumping point to do this. Like, the idea of putting the rainbow in a puddle and having these characters walk across it is like such a creative and fun idea that good job, Crazy Downey. You did a great request here. I think.
Got to find Crazy Downey out there.
Yeah.
Related to Robert Downey Jr.? Yes. What is the transponder snail doing on top of Chopper?
He's hitching a little ride. He's getting.
He
Does
does
not
he's
look
getting
happy
wet.
about it. Yeah.
No,
Well,
there's.
I'm wondering who's on the other end of that. And maybe we'll find out this chapter. Who's on
Maybe
the other
Zoro or Jinbei.
Yes,
They're
I was
not
like
here.
Zoro and Jinbei. Jinbei went to go get Zoro because he couldn't find the meetup spot.
It may be just a regular non-transponder snail.
Oh, that's true. It could just be a
that's
regular
just
old-
chilling on a
Well,
wet
snails
day.
do snails do, and slugs usually enjoy the rain and the wet. So that's a good
Good
point.
Brooks expression. He's like, oh.
It's so good. I love
there
the transparent umbrella
Oh.
too.
Yeah, true.
Classic.
Vera, what were you gonna say? You were gonna say something. I thought. No.
Oh no, I was riffing on the snail. That's all.
Okay. I guess we're done
Oh
with the stay.
no, I with the snail, but everybody's ignoring the best part. He gives little Pride Month color spread. Thanks, Oda.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, yeah.
Very good.
I wonder if on purpose or I do know Oda does like rainbows. I'm just thinking
he's
of
used rainbows before, so
a lot. Yeah,
but it's appropriate.
But does he always do it in June?
It does. Listen, it doesn't have to be on purpose. He just did it. Like,
That's true.
and I hope this is perhaps part of the calendar next year. I think it's really, really cute.
It would be
Yeah,
good
is
for
this the rainy
June.
season. What is the rainy season in Japan? I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't recall either.
Yeah, I like the reflection
now.
of
It's
Luffy
definitely
looks
now.
like Ponyo.
Yeah,
So cute.
it's very cute.
Yeah, Usopp's just running from, I guess, Frankie.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that's
He
kind
doesn't want to
of
get
weird.
splashed.
We have quite a chapter this week. Ed, do you want to get us started?
Sure. We start with the exterior view of Pangaea Castle, and we get the Oda box saying, "And so the reverie came to a close, with the truth of King Cobra's murder kept under wraps." And Igaram is going crazy by the port here, and saying, "Tell me, have you seen this girl? Has anyone seen Princess Vivi of Alabasta?"
Good
And yeah, and then Chaka and Pell are looking around, looking for the king. He's ill and he needs help, but that's just sort of left unresolved. And
By the way, Pell survived just so he could have this panicked expression doing absolutely nothing here.
He doesn't look panicked. Chaka looks panicked.
Yeah, he looks bored, to be fair. Pell is bored.
Same shit, different day.
Yeah, Igarim's weeping.
That's the right reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like how indifferent the rest of the kings are is so harsh.
Yeah.
Just don't even care.
Unsurprising, but harsh.
All right, so it continues. While on the ships taking the various royals home, a number of stowaways kept their heads low.
Joey?
All right, and on the next page, we zoom into one of the ships and see two of these stowaways. It's Wapol and Vivi. Wapol is wondering. I guess at this point they've landed, and they're wondering, which country ship is this? Oh, they're still in transportation.
I think they're still, yeah.
Yeah, and I believe it's Vivi is thinking or whispering. Yeah, I hate the Japanese whisper / thinking word bubbles. It belongs to the Aegis Kingdom, which we looked at this up beforehand. It is written differently than Cypherpole Aegis Zero. And then we cut over to the Wii News, the World Economic News blimp with our favorite bird, Big News Morgans, who's getting a call. Is this from Wapol? Yeah, because he's calling him on the top panel there. Yeah. It's Aegis's ship, Morgan's, and Morgan says, "Got it. We'll bring the office to the ship under the guise of reporting, and you need to slip under their noses to hop on aboard." And he's appreciative of this, and he said, "Hey, you're a king fleeing for his life. That's big news."
He said the thing.
I can't wait to dig into this. Yeah, find the GIF. And so Vivi looks over her shoulder and says, well, what did you see, Wapol? But he can't say to her, especially to her, and says to go back on your own ship. But she says that she can't. Those people were CP0. If I go back to join the others, they'll just abduct me again. And we zoom out to see this Aegis ship. It's got a cool lion with a big crown on
pissed
top
off
of it.
lion, it looks like.
Yeah.
He's regal, like he has that like look like, I'm better than all of you.
Oh yeah, it's got that sort of like Yakuza, like upturned eyebrows, tough guy face, but kind of snarl as well. But so they're thinking within the ship, let me use that transponder snail. I need to get in touch with my father. He is a worrywart. And of course, this sends Wapol panicking even more, saying, "Don't trust me. That's the last thing you want to do." What? Why do you say that? Why indeed?
Yeah. To be fair, he was worrying about her before he went into the room. Yeah.
I wonder what that means.
And we get a little montage of some familiar CP0 members looking for Vivi and Sabo.
What's this guy's name again? The first one? He has a name.
Guy.
Maha?
Yeah. No, Maha was the other one, right? I think
Maha was
the one who held
stick
the
mask.
Maybe this is
let
the
me look
name
it
for this
up.
guy.
Your mama.
I like the Stelly getting aroused by the pictures.
Yeah.
Stelly's taking the wrong message from
He has a
looking at
wife.
this photo.
Stelly has a wife, right?
Yeah, well, she's a piece of shit too. So
Yeah, but
We
he's a
deserve each
piece of
other.
shit.
the tall one is. Hold on, let me double check here. I'm making sure because there's two with similar. Okay, yeah, he's got the one with the. This one is Gizmonda. Gizmonda.
You mean like the
Gizmonda.
website?
The what?
The what?
I was
Gizmodo.
I was making the joke. Yeah.
And then looking for Sabo is the villain from Water 7, whose name I'm blanking on.
You know what?
Is that guy's?
We don't need to say it even, Vero.
This is why I'm bad at trivia.
It's okay.
But yeah.
It's
most
Spandam.
hated.
You
hated-
shouldn't.
Spandam.
know.
That's
He doesn't
right.
deserve.
Spandam.
Oh, I thought Joey was just making a stance like I refused to name this man.
I thought
No,
that at
I was
first.
just blanking on it. So they're looking for this wanted criminal Sabo, and then we see in a few other ships, Bonnie is stowing away. She's very hungry, going to tagine, a delicious spice.
That's the
Tagine-
Moroccan one.
Yeah, tagine is the Moroccan dish. Yeah.
Well, it's Queen Morodon. So
Right.
it's got Moro in it.
It was one of the ones we were introduced to at the beginning of the Reverie material back in volume 90.
And then on his way to Leluja is our guy Sabo saying, "Once I get to Leluja, things should work out." Famous last words.
Once I get to Alderaan, everything will be fine.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's huffing and huffing, holding his wounds, and remembering words said to him saying, "I'm counting on you, Sabo." And we see Cobra bleeding to death. You must survive. And he's feeling all sorts of ways about it. Sabo on his way to the doomed kingdom of Leluja.
All right, so we get the view of the port outside the red line here, and the Yoda boxes continue. Very soon, the news came out of the assassination of King Cobra of Alabasta and the disappearance of his daughter, Princess Vivi. And back in Sacred Mirajoa, the five elders are having a discussion in Pangaea Castle, and they say, "And the Sabo fellow, the man who bears a checkered fate, no one has led a life more affected by the D. I'd really like to be finished with this egghead business." And so the snail starts ringing, and we hear, "What is it, oh great Emu?" Back in the Chamber of Flowers, Emu starts talking. "I wish to use Vegapunk's creation, the Mother Frame."
But before we talk too much, should we mention what Stephen passed along to us?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so these are Stephen's words. That it's a coin toss between Mother Frame and Mother Flame, depending on if it's meant to be sci-fi, as in futuristic ancient weapons, mothership, mainframe, or mythological. So that could get changed in the future. I did get the idea immediately, the sci-fi thing here. So I mean,
Yeah, with
that did get
Vegapunk,
across.
yeah. For sure.
So the elders continue. "Indeed, we will not know if it is real until it is tested. But perhaps the results of such a test might influence our handling of this egghead matter. A test on forested land would do better than open sea. Lelucia Kingdom. There are many people there. It is no matter. Very well, the world is as the Creator wills it. But they do ask, why do you choose Lelucia?"
Ed, why do you choose anything? It's close. And one of the five elders responds, "Indeed."
Yeah, Waze told me that's the best way to go. I don't know.
I mean, like,
I want to watch.
what am I? Oh, jeez. So we get a close-up of Emu's eyes with a little bit more detail than we usually get, though still scant details. And we get a little flash, what is a flash forward to them of the actual usage of the weapon, flash back to us. And we hear the five elders saying, "We shall take the necessary steps to make it so." And the second one, which I will introduce each of these in a second, there are signs of rebellions in Lelucia's populace. By the way, the Alderaan thing just becoming more and more an apt analogy you guys made last week. The third guy says it may serve as an example to others. The fourth said, and if we could use its power freely. And the fifth one says, then we can bring this ancient battle to its conclusion. And that feels like the most movie trailer tagline I've heard in a while from One Piece. Now,
So that doom is more like a blah.
yeah, there you go. The Inception blah. So we were introduced to the five elders back in volume 24, 25. We have not known their names except spare one that we recently learned. But now we have the names of each of them. And more importantly, the position that they hold. So first, we have the Godhead of Science and Defense, Saint J. Garcia Saturn. This one is the one we knew. He is the one with the scar down his face, the rabbinical hair, the big beard. I don't think there's much else to say about that. Yeah.
When we heard this name, we were like, I figured out the pattern. They're all going to be named after classic rock musicians or popular music musicians.
The planet one was correct. We were right with that. The rock musician one, it doesn't
Well, the betting odds, there was really nothing to gain.
We have the guy with the gigantic mustache, like the trident facial hair. Is the Godhead of the Environment. We need one of those here, whose name is Saint Marcus Mars. So obviously, Mars, God of War.
Marcus Mars and the Funky Bunch.
There you go.
Yeah, the five elder stars.
Then, Godhead of Justice, we have Saint Topman Warcury.
Top.
So
Saint Topham Hat.
There you go. There it is. I think it was mentioned in our Discord too that it's like kind of the Wario Mario thing with the with the W. Well, isn't it like Wario is? Yeah. That's the Gorbachev guy. We've been calling him the wrong name all this time. I feel dreadfully embarrassed. Please make your Topman joke here. I assume Vero.
Well, it is Pride Month. So.
Right, that's why.
This is the guy who's working on the Ark. Top man.
Yeah, we have top men. Then we have the one guy who looks the most like he's probably from Wano or Japan. The one with the sword, the one who's bald. Did we call him Gandhi a lot in the past?
Yeah, that's the thing is I think that was kind of the nickname for him, but then his name especially kind of leads to think that he's maybe whatever the ancestor of Wano or something like that.
Yeah. So we have the Godhead of Finance. That's the exciting job. Saint Ethan Baron V. Nisjuro. You don't want to meet his brother, Saint Arthur A. Nis. Nisjuro. I almost got it.
Uranus.
Anyway. Yeah.
Oh, is that the what planet?
That's Venus. This one.
Venus.
The one I made up is Uranus.
Oh, Venus. Juro.
Yeah.
Juro.
So this one took me a second just because it's on two different lines and you actually have to say it out loud to hear it.
Yeah, I'm dumb as hell. I didn't get that. Reading it.
When I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, what is this V initial?" No, we've been dealing with D's this whole time, and now
No, that's a very clever.
You're telling me the V has a will of its own.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the D versus the V. Here we go. Right here.
I'm being so well behaved right now.
You're not if you say that.
I'm holding back the power.
Okay, I guess that's fine. I'm tired, so I don't really care if you hold it back or not. And finally, now this is the position you want to avoid. Godhead of Agriculture. We have Saint Shepherd Jew Peter. I don't know what to think about that.
And Jupiter, you said you was full. Jeez. Saint Jupiter.
Yeah, what I said about this is that we're getting pretty close to tight Kubo naming status, but not quite wild enough.
Yeah,
but...
we are. Yeah.
I like how Jay Garcia and Marcus over here have like normal sounding names, and then like the other half of the spread, it just gets stupid. It's almost like it's like English translation JoJo names. Where they clearly can't use it, so they gotta like work it around. It's like,
Top Man.
Terrible company.
So what? So I guess the first name going backwards for Jupiter By the way, I'm calling them by their planets because otherwise I'm going to get confused as shit. So Shepherd,
Okay, Green Bowl.
Well, I mean, it's a reference. I assumed it was a reference to the first pope, Peter, the apostle, who was the shepherd for God.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah. That okay. I know nothing
Tending
about
to the-
Catholicism.
Yeah, and
Is this
and
clear?
Anjou.
and Ethan Barron, named after New Jersey's famous Ethan Barron's.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Yeah, I mean, Baron and finance are related terms. Ethan is a name that many people have. I don't know. I mean, that's the thing.
Are we gonna spend 20 minutes talking about this?
Yes.
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
Ethan. I think Ethan is derived from the name Ethan, and you just see me blow my brains out. Right
Yeah,
now.
he's
This is
obviously
call.
the creator of Borat, Ethan Baron Cohen.
Top means top, and man equals man. And that includes our 4-hour podcast.
Okay. Do you guys have any other thoughts on the file elders being introduced here finally?
I'm never going to
No.
remember these.
Yeah,
Just
they're
remember
gonna be
them by the
planets.
planet.
I
Just
mean,
the planet.
Saint Marcus Mars. It's like, you know,
That one's easy, but the rest
You
of
know,
them.
it's basically, you know, it's like calling like Zachary Zach and
Hey,
you know,
don't tell people my
Edward
real last
Ed
name.
and Stevie Steve and Steve-a-fin Steven, you know,
Yeah.
and the rest of the crew, you know.
And
Now that they have
Vero-
names, we can finally get
I
WCFs
won't
of
say
these
it.
guys.
You, it's you could say
Yeah,
it's
we don't
okay.
have WCFs of them.
Because they
I'm
didn't have
surprised.
names.
Well,
now we
freaking Guernica got a figure before they were named.
That's from
totally
the
forgot.
Guernica fangirls, though. So
Which
not
is
so much like in
Josh.
their name. And Landegg and several other people you don't know, but it's fine.
The only
are
one I know is
dozens
Josh.
There are dozens of them.
Dozens, I know.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Would you collect figures of these 5?
I would love to have little figures of them and have tea time. I think that'd be so funny.
That would be
They
fun.
would go in my future child's Barbie doll collection.
They'd be that figure line that's people sitting in chairs, right?
Kids,
want them
I
to be
want
in
you
the
to
Barbie
have
movie.
these. Kids, I want you to have these figures of these totalitarian, enigmatic figures.
Have you
can't wait
ever
to see
seen
these
what little girls do to male Barbie dolls? It's like Korok torture level. Like they'll get there.
Saint
I have
Top
no
Man
idea what's
Workery,
happening.
my favorite.
Sanji's gonna go up in a nice cabinet, locked. They don't get to play with Sanji. But
By the
these
way,
guys-
Steve.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention when you said Topham Hat. I've from 3:30 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. That's what I was watching this morning.
With your son or just by yourself? Because I would do that. I would watch that.
You know,
Zach,
I'm going to leave that up to the.
and Zach, you want to hang out and watch like season 3 of Thomas and Friends?
We were watching
I'm down.
one of the new ones. It was I forget the name of
Oh, what's wrong with you?
Anyway, when my friends ditch me at Pride and I'm like, hey, who are you meeting up with from Grindr? They're gonna be like, oh, the top man.
it. You're meeting up with Work Yuri? Okay, let's move on.
Josh would have laughed at that. Fuck you
Yeah, I
all.
know.
I mean, I got it. You know.
Yeah, we all got it.
It's fine. It's fine. No.
You'll be okay.
I at first thought that Saint Ethan Baron v. Nurse Juro was the funniest name because it's such a mouthful and so unwieldy, but I think Saint Top Man Workery is my favorite of the names.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what matters, which is our favorite. The names. Although Ethan Baron Cohen is hilarious.
That's
Okay.
pretty good.
It is very good. Vera, what happens next?
And then we see Emu, little silhouette with some butterflies around them, and they say, "There is one other thing." And over the call, we hear, "Yes," and Emu goes, "I desire Vivi," reading a page straight out of Nami's diary.
Dan, if you're listening, please isolate the footage.
I
Have that
desire
for
Vivi.
future. Yeah.
Almost exactly what I say when I want to see your dog.
Yeah,
It is almost what you said.
You could just,
this is that energy.
It is that energy. I desire to see your dog.
I
That is how I.
macaroni pictures.
I was just saying I desire Viv.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I do want to add. I love that Emu has their own transponder snail with the similar.
Oh yeah, I realized that
Yeah.
with the tall crown. Yeah,
Yeah,
forgot
that's
about-
good.
I thought that was. I thought that was a long. You know,
It
Could be a lot of
antenna at
things.
first.
Yeah.
I'd really like to imagine them sitting in this little garden surrounded all these butterflies or whatever, making like a little paper craft, being like, is it? No, it needs to be like a little bit bigger, and then like placing it on the. I don't know how transponder snails get their clothes. I'd like to imagine that you have to make them for them.
I like that too. Although Wapple earlier in the chapter, apparently the one that he was talking in just formed into his grotesque face.
Maybe he made a little.
That's what they do.
Maybe he stopped off at Build-A-Bear.
They take on the. They take on the face.
Build a snail. Go
Anyway,
ahead, Vera.
they're like, it will be done. And then we see the Navy, rebellion in Tahine, and Aegis was stretched thin between the end of the 7 warlords and quelling the sudden uprisings in member countries of the government. However, this was only the start of a new Navy campaign. We hear, send out all the Seraphim. Crocodile appears in empty bluffs. And we're kind of getting a recap of everything that's been going on for like the last year so far in our world, not story. I really like this just really depressed baby crocodile. I'm like, yeah, me too, kid. Like the other two.
The sex, I guess, remains
Yeah.
questionable. We don't know.
You know?
That could go either way.
Happy Pride.
Yeah. Moria, what do you think of Moria? Is we're on the scale.
Cute.
What
He's
was
a little
the
scamp. He's having a great time. He's adorable.
Yeah.
You could get us some mischief with him. Doflamingo
I still think Doflamingo.
Leave,
That's
get away
what I
from
was
me.
gonna say. I was literally gonna
He
say
looks
that.
like a cartoon child that would like. Well, I guess he is. I don't. I just.
He looks
is
like
a cartoon
he would
child.
bully my
he looks-
child on the playground.
Yeah,
He
no, he
would.
looks like the kid, like
Especially if your
that-
kid is playing with the 5 elders sets.
No,
Those are for
he's definitely the
girls.
child's. He's the friend of the kid in the show where the kid hangs out with the kid from the bad kid, and he's like, "Why don't you steal your parents' liquor?" It's like, I don't think that's a good idea, Dofi. What are you, wuss?
That's literally
You want to be
crocodile.
friends, right?
and-
Don't you want to be cool? Sorry, I also that's my voice for child Dofi. That and the spoiled kid from Marge Be Not Proud. Be like, shut up, mom.
That Doflamingo has
Dofy.
big Ed, and Eddie energy.
Yeah, the way he's
Yeah.
walking too.
I got a scheme today.
These 3
I
are
know
Ed,
where
Ed,
the
and
world
Eddie
government
then?
keeps all its jawbreakers.
Dof, and Dofy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look how tiny his feet are.
Yeah.
He is
Princess
very
Tiny Feet.
bird-like.
Yeah.
Crocodile is. Oh, I remember who's who. Double D here.
Double D, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's-
Gecko Moria is
So
the
that means
one with
Gecko
this-
Moria always says things like gravy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, the gender of young crocodile is even more mysterious now because that is like they're androgynous as hell.
I
don't
know,
know.
that's little egg. That's what half my trans mask friends look like.
Yeah.
So yeah.
because crocodile
Although-
crocodile doesn't have like those big old cutesy eyes, So
Although the scar, apparently from birth, maybe, or genetically in there.
no,
It's just always has the scar.
I don't.
Yeah,
think
how do you
when
clone a
Oda-
scar?
Did he have the scar in the SBS? That's what you're looking up, I'm assuming.
I am. Yeah, let me verify. No,
He did not. Okay. So I assume that is just a way
Maybe they're teenagers
for.
here.
But let's be fair. Would we know who the hell this is without that? Like maybe, like a casual reader. Just when I say that,
I
I, mean
think so,
someone just
yeah,
reading
when you-
through.
when you
Yeah.
think about it, it could just be like Oda drew that and I'm like, this isn't reading crocodile.
No.
There it is.
They kind of look like the Mihawk one.
Yeah.
a bit.
It really does. Yeah.
Maybe he should have given him a big cigar. And
That's what he was missing. I knew
On the hook
something was
hand.
missing.
Got to get smokers
Yeah.
young.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway.
Continue.
Yes, we return to Sabo giving us. He's giving face. This is very serious here. The moment we landed in Lelouchia, the people were ready. They took King Seki and Princess Comaine
Comaine? Or
prisoner.
Comoni? I forget. Yeah.
And welcomed me with open arms when I emerged from hiding. That was the first time I saw in the newspaper and learned that I was accused of regicide. They were like, yeah, we're rocking with you. Kill our king too. Get him up there right now.
Two little things about this panel. First, Ivankov is reading the book that they are going to be placing down on the table on the next page. I think that's kind of cool. Second, we saw the results of what Sabo's talking about here right before the Lucia was destroyed with the king and the princess in prison during that.
Filling in the gaps. Dragon is also brooding. Look at how he sits in that chair.
Dragon is permanently brooding.
I need to know Luffy's mom's vibe so I can be like, where did the serotonin come in for Luffy?
Garp. It
'Cause-
came from Garp. It skips a generation.
Yeah, exactly. They treated me as a hero, and though I wished to tell them the truth of what happened, I just couldn't do it. Not when their revolutionary passion was so strong. He's like, okay, yeah, I'm rocking with it. Thanks to Betty and the others, Lucio is full of motivated people who wanted to join the revolutionary army. Those are the ones that brought back with me. They're so cute. They're so French. Look at them. They're like, yeah, we want to overthrow our government. Bring out the guillotine. Let's get with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
And that's that like girl on the front, right? That's a character from one of the cover stories or something.
That's
From-
Boda, the milkmaid.
Yeah, from the
so-
Dr. Blackbeard cover story
Yeah,
with
so
Ace.
now
She was
all
also
get
in the
our
chapter
star.
with
We can
the-
now rest easy.
the
that
star
she's-
of that cover story.
Yeah, Dr.
Dr.
Blackbeard.
Blackbeard.
Poor guy. Joey Gray.
Okay.
He's
So
dead.
on the on the next page, Sabo goes on to, not confusingly at all, explain that I couldn't get a jamming transponder snail, which is why I couldn't send a signal back home. So the message I did send was a relay call as we were leaving port. If the government picked up the signal, they'd assume I was on Lelouchia, but in fact, I was already at sea with our hopeful recruits. And we get a little cute diagram with Kamabaka and Lelouchia and all the snails sending signals to each other and a little smiling Sabo face. Very cute. And then, oh boy, Eva, God, my brain is terrible. Eva goes on to say, it was then while on the call that the vanishing of Lelouchia happened, I presume. Sabo says yes. It was a horrible scene on the ship. Most of the people left families behind, and they saw their home destroyed before their eyes. And Dragon says it's a harrowing thing. What in the world happened? And we see a little flash to Lelouchia as things are exploding. A great shadow covered the entire sky, and in the very next moment, and Dragon interjects here, a great shadow, and we see that yes, as they were sailing away, they could see this big shadow in the clouds, a very ominous scene. And Sabo says something that no natural living creature could explain. Some dark, vast thing flew above the clouds, and I love the like shading on Sabo's face here, like the little bit of highlight of the screen tone next to his nose, especially, is like really interesting to me. It gives a lot of dramatic dimension to his face. So Ivankov says, Sabo, you said the name Emu earlier. That's right. Well, this is going to sound very strange, but among the first 20 who created the world 800 years ago, there was a monarch named Saint Emu of the Nerona dynasty. And this is shocking. Eva puts down this book, as Zach mentioned. And
the title of that book is Genesis.
Oh,
Oh, interesting. It's not Genki, learning book for learning Japanese.
It doesn't just say jeans.
Jeez.
No, you could say it's a GENES and I. It looks like after that. And
Yeah,
then-
it probably is. It probably is Genesis.
I mean
That's
that would make
interesting.
sense because it's a history book, presumably.
What are we
That-
what's the tangent again?
The book
This
that
book-
Ivankov put down.
In the panel with the flap. Look at this. It said that the means to create everlasting life exist in this world. Well, someone had to prove it. Weehaw. And he said, they say, someone out there has been living for ages and ages without dying. Dodon.
Well, Eva points very forcefully and he goes, whap.
Yeah, whaps. Right here in my yearbook. It's Emu. Yeah.
They signed, "Have a great summer."
See you in the car. Love Emu. Steve, you want to finish out the chapter?
Sure. Sabo says, "Then you're saying that's who I saw in there?" And Ivanov says, "Maybe the name is just a coincidence, but if the 5 elders are the greatest authority among the celestial dragons, so-called descendants of the gods, who else could possibly lord over men like them?" Get a nice little silhouette of them there, and Ivankov points and yells, "And there's one more wild leap in this story, my boy. If this thing you saw fly over the clouds and destroy an entire nation was a government weapon, then only Vegapunk could have created it." And Dragon says,
No,
"Hold on, Eva."
Ivankov moves the finger that he was pointing at,
yeah.
that they were pointing at Sabo to Dragon and
Yeah.
J'accuse. Go ahead.
And Dragon says, "Hold on, Eva. Vegapunk would not build such an obvious tool of murder." And Ivankov was like, I know, right? Right? He says, "But what if it were an ancient weapon? And if Emu were alive since ancient times, it all makes sense." And like Ivankov kind of just pats their
The red
yarn
string,
board.
yeah.
The red string board there. And Dragon retorts, "Robin told us that the ancient weapons are real. They're totally real. If the government is in possession of a weapon, why have they not used it before? Why use it now?" Questions I'll be answered another
In a month.
time.
Or never.
Yeah, a month seems generous.
yeah.
But we go back. We go to the present day in Secret Mary Joa. A single celestial dragon has just been executed, and I bet some people thought Charlos, and no, it's not a happy ending. And someone says,
not.
"We have no food, no bread, only cake to eat."
Let him.
them eat cake. Yeah.
Yeah. Subtle, Oda. It's like, oh, I can't believe we get to eat this cake. But the Oda box says, "But this was not news meant for the world to hear. The man who passed the sentence was once the ruler of a place called God Valley."
Yellow
Today.
dog for those who are podcast fans. Yeah.
Today he's the supreme commander of the Holy Knights. His name is Saint Figurland Garling. And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little Mac tonight.
There it is.
He's
was waiting.
Yeah. He's a crazy. His head is a moon.
His head is moon.
Yeah. I'm gonna put in a request to the radio station. It's been a while since I've heard the song "Return of the Mac" tonight. And we got freaking this crescent, looking guy here, just sitting in a chair with his sword. And like the other celestial dragons are rah-rahing in the back, celebrating. They're terrible. I hate them.
As you should.
Yeah, give me a second here because my page is zoomed in too much. And the narrative continues. The man he had executed for protecting the fishmen was Saint Don Quixote Miosgard. And he's like riddled with stab wounds or gunshot wounds. And he's strung up on what looks like a giant world government symbol. And we hear from Garling. He says, "Stand up for subhuman scum, and you sink even lower." And that's it, unfortunately.
That's it for June. So
That's a wrap on June.
That's a wrap on June. We're done with the
June,
month.
everybody.
Yeah. Wow, June
Pride
went
Month
by
ended
so
early.
fast.
Pride Month ended
Damn.
early.
You said that a little
yeah.
too enthusiastically for my tastes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say that enthusiastic. It ended on a high note.
I'm busting your balls.
And by that I mean it ended on a low note.
Yeah.
So
sorry. The moon versus sun metaphor, very heavy-handed here. I was like, good lord, Oda. Like, you got the sun god, but then he's literally just a fucking moon. Like, I was like, okay.
yeah, to be fair, I mean,
Not a bad thing. I was just like, oh my god, okay. You're really establishing this. Thank you.
I know we here at the One Piece podcast, me in particular, has been the Charlie Day at the board talking about the moon and its importance on the series. I don't really, I mean, the moon has obviously been something extremely important in Oda's creation process from the beginning. The first Romance Dawn had the Crescent Pirates, the Crescent Moon Pirates. It's been really present, obviously, Sulong more recently, Eneru on the moon, and the Endless Verse. There's a lot to chew on there. I think the first thing I just want to bring up, having seen One Piece film read more recently too, and I think discussing this point, is that surname is familiar, as it's mentioned, I believe, by the Five Elder Stars in One Piece film read as the, if not Shanks' surname, at least the family Shanks is from, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was also Stephen had another note about the last page, right?
Yes, I do definitely want to mention that because it's a big translation note, saying that Stephen was incorrect about the line of Garling being the former ruler of God Valley. It should be ruler/champion who distinguished himself at God Valley, and we'll try and get an updated correction this week. Wouldn't that still mean he was the
He's not
ruler
necessarily the ruler. It's
of
like
God Valley? Or
he's like I think it's
It's unclear,
The champion maybe makes it sound like he was a very well-regarded figure who had a lot of influence and sway or something, but maybe not like literally the king, you know?
And, so I went back to chapter, I think it was like 963 or something like that, where God Valley was originally brought up. And it was interesting. Why are the Celestial Dragons not on Marijoa is the first, they usually only leave, I think, for
I thought they are. I thought that's where
they went to Sabaody.
No. I mean, 38 years ago during God Valley, why were the Celestial Dragons there? And it is when Sengoku's talking to random Marines, giving them exposition in that chapter, he does mention that Garp did not want to side with the Celestial Dragons, and that was part of his thing that at God Valley, and I think teaming up with Roger. I don't know what exactly happened there, obviously, but it's interesting to me. What is this, their vacation spot? Is this their Cayman Islands? It's their, it's where they
God
hide.
Valley. So.
Yeah, with a name like God Valley, it's not surprising that they're like it honestly, like if it didn't conflict with other stuff that had happened in the story, I would have assumed that it would be like next to Mary Joie or like under it or something, because it just feels like it would be part of their immediate domain,
right?
A name like God Valley.
And in the chapter where it was originally introduced, it is introduced as an island that no longer exists, that's been wiped off the face of the map, which adds a whole other level of mystery, and why the Rocks Pirates, Roger, and Garp, and the Celestial Dragons were all in the same place on different sides of this conflict. It's the God Valley thing hadn't piqued my interest as much, I think, as the usual fan, but now, given this extra wrinkle in it, I'm certainly interested. And also the fact that in the One Piece film read, one of the books, the supplemental books, showed that Oda had sketched out Shanks as a baby in a treasure chest on God Valley, and that's where Roger had found him. So
they put that in the end of the movie too. I think
right. Well, they didn't say. Did they say where it was? I think they just showed that's where.
I don't know. I said this earlier. I was like, unfortunately, when it comes to this, I'm like, did that happen, or did I read it in a fan fiction? And I have to not talk because I'm like, I don't know.
So it definitely happened in the supplemental Red book, where he lays out a timeline, and I checked before to make sure, but I don't remember them in the movie whether. And also the movie, and even the supplemental books, I would take. Well, the supplemental books might be more canonical if we're like trying to be really nerdy here, which we are since we're the One Piece podcast. It's unclear to me. I guess the stuff in the movie, I don't know how much stock to necessarily put into it as a backstory. That being said, this guy could be Shanks's dad, or at least Shanks's relative, or clan member. It's
I don't like that.
well, with Celestial Dragons, it's fitting. It is fitting. It's almost too nice. That's how evil these guys are. No, it's not too nice. It's right.
It was interesting to kind of go in that direction because when there was that first talking about the Holy Knights and there was that silhouette, there was the silhouette that looks suspiciously like Shanks, and there was a lot of talking about that. And then we get this character who has a silhouette nothing like that, and I was like, oh, okay, well, silhouettes don't, amount to anything yet again. But then he has the same family name as Shanks, and it's an interesting, continuing to kind of lead us down this path.
I think he's getting better with silhouettes, finally.
Yeah, for sure.
I think last week plus that tell me that, maybe swords are a sign of genetic relation, since they had the same sword or the same hilt. Anyway, anything
You're comparing
about,
swords during Pride Month?
I mean, it is part of being part of the D, bearing the D. It's true. So let's talk about the chapter. Vero, since it's Pride Month, I'll start with you.
I wish you wouldn't. I don't have anything fun and exciting to say.
Why not?
Because this is not where reading this chapter plus a couple of the other chapters made me realize that I need to sit down while it's on break and go reread like the last, I don't know, year's worth of chapters. And thank you for the visuals. I really appreciate that.
Sorry, I was showing everyone the One Piece Film Red thing. I'm distracting Vero. Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. The ADHD can't.
No, I have it
not.
too. So it's
No, I just my roommate and I were discussing it this morning actually, and it was kind of, what did he say? It was really fucking poignant. And kind of like,
do you want to call him and get him in?
I'm gonna be like, Melvin, stop playing Street Fighter, get up here. Just something along the lines of like, I don't even care what the answer is. I'm happy that we're like getting these answers and happy that like the story is unfolding more. Because I'm not really somebody who likes to sit around, and I don't think I do a whole lot of theory crafting just because like I no hate to people that do. I think it's great. I'm just like, I want to see where. How do I explain it? It like sort of ruins the enjoyment for me because I want to just see where Oda is going to take it.
Ed had a very similar take on this many years ago. I don't know if he still does, but I don't know if you want to chime in real quick. Ed.
Honestly, no, you can say it.
No, I was just saying, like, what Vero's saying right now feels very eerily similar to what I've heard Ed say once.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't know. I am enjoying like the ride. I feel that like I don't have anything. I don't know. Just pick on somebody else. I don't know what I want to say.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I will. Joey.
Now I'm being picked on. Okay.
That's how the show works. You do it every week.
I just thought it was a funny choice of words. Yeah, no, I align pretty similar with Vero, where my feeling about this is like, while I was reading it, first of all, this chapter is incredibly dense, which is, pretty remarkable in itself. There's like no big moment of action or anything. Like, not a lot actually like physically happens with the characters doing anything in this chapter besides like the showing the king, the stowaways fleeing and stuff. But it's so packed full of information, and it's exciting information that we've been waiting on for a long time, and that opens up a lot of doors and also kind of adds to the overall like lore of the series and what we've been kind of building up to for a long time. But at the same time, it's like not exactly like my kind of chapter. It's not the kind of chapter that I get really excited about, where like you really see funny stuff happening and characters like really like acting in the like unique ways that the characters act and things like that. And so it's the kind of thing that as I'm reading it, I'm like, wow, I can tell, moment of greatness chapter. Like, this is really big stuff. This is really important, but there's nothing that I am walking away from this chapter being like, boy, it really had that one thing for me that makes me is the reason why I love One Piece, And so this isn't a criticism of it. It's just kind of like, just talking about the different kind of levels that One Piece works on. And so I found this chapter very exciting. It's very nice to now have names, and that's kind of the thing that I latched onto, because it was kind of the goofiest part of this chapter is getting the names for the elders, and they're so like topsy-turvy crazy, and which helps. I think Sai said this to me on Twitter, like it helps them feel very old that their names are so like long and kind of cumbersome. That it makes them feel kind of more ancient, rather than just being named like, hey, this is Saint Cucumber or something like that,
God forbid.
I think I would appreciate it if all of them were named after like VeggieTales characters.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, we already have very good. That's true.
And then getting this Figureland Garling character is interesting. Again, he hasn't really like done much. He's executed our one sympathetic celestial dragon. So in some ways that's very sad, but kind of appropriate. It also kind of doesn't leave him hanging. Like, well, what is he going to do with the rest of his life now that he knows that he's starting to kind of have these sympathies and stuff? It's like, well, he's out of the way, and we're going to just continue on with these really terrible characters. But yeah, I feel like I'm just kind of rambling endlessly. But I think he's a very imposing character. He's a good example of a sort of Oda sense of humor, with his hair and his beard looking so silly, like even outside of the fact that it's a moon. But they're also like very sharp, and so it makes him kind of also look imposing. It's a very interesting character design in that way. But yeah, I think that we're going to have a lot of interesting kind of lore-based conversation around this for sure. And so I cede my time.
Ed.
Yeah, this was a very weight of history kind of chapter, with but you're right. Not necessarily a lot of action happened in this chapter, but this is actually more building more mystery even than or providing little hints of clues rather than giving explanations. This the stuff with Garling, it's a whole new mystery. It's leading into something else that we haven't seen yet. Getting names for the 5 elders is fun and kind of funny, but doesn't really do anything. But it feels important, Emu continues to be sinister, as their desire for Vivi is sort of stated out loud rather than implied like it has been the last couple of chapters. These all feel like people who are going to be important going on into the next stage of One Piece. But it's interesting, like with God Valley. So Garp had to ally with Roger in order to protect the celestial dragons and their slaves, and thereby defeat the Rocks pirates. What were the Rocks pirates doing attacking the celestial dragons, or what were they doing there in the first place?
And why would Roger want to defend the celestial dragons?
Right, or
or vice versa,
or destroy or fight the Rocks pirates. So it might have been more about that. But it's sorry, the way they do the Five Elders page is very it's interesting because normally these panels are very crowded and very dense with a lot of text, but Oda gives his art room to breathe in that page. I think it looks better than a lot of other things have recently. It's a very functional storytelling, a lot of head-on sort of storytelling. But I'm curious to see what ends up happening with Morgans, or whether Vivi ever goes back to Alabasta, or if she just ends up with the Straw Hats for the rest of the story. She's back with them, because who knows where she's going to go from here.
Mm-hmm.
So curious where that's going.
Steve,
Always good to see the Seraphim, the kids like we talked about.
Steve, your thoughts?
I think going in knowing this was our last chapter for a while, it was a little disappointing. I'm very curious, and this is just theorizing, just like, I wonder if Oda kind of realized, like, working through this chapter, he's like, I gotta stop. Because we know it's a shorter one, but I'm like, I don't know, that last page does not feel like a climactic one to me. It is like a bombshell, because it is, for fans that are just so tuned into everything and saw Film Red or picked up the supplementary material, realized, like, this ties into Shanks, and I guess that is a big deal, but I think it wasn't enough for me. I thought, like, it was getting cooking, and for it to kind of run a little short, I was a little bummed there. It was dense. I kind of can't help but feel like this was information we already kind of surmised, but I think now we're just getting confirmation of it. Mm-hmm. Not that it's like uninteresting, but it's like, even Koff saying like, he must, like, that Emu must be an ancient being, and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like what we were talking about a week ago, and that's not fault of Oda, that's just fault of us for caring too much. So I can't really say there was anything in this chapter that I was just like, like foaming at the mouth over, and not because someone used Supreme King hockey on me. I think the big thing is we finally got the names of the Elder Stars, which is really cool. Confirmation that they made Warlord kids of all the Warlords. So my hopes of maybe like a dumb buggy Seraphim would be great. I don't know. I feel like if they give them all these powers, that means like the Seraphim buggy is obviously stronger than normal buggy, but this should be very interesting developments. I felt like this was more like just, okay, here's some answers.
Here's more questions. I mean, the answer is like, who's the godhead of agriculture? Well, that belongs on a Viva card. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't care about the godhead of agriculture?
But Ed, it doesn't quite go like the cue for Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room, but it's kind of there. But yeah, we're kind of just seeing how everyone kind of got to where they were when we saw them before we flash back to all this. But it's definitely kind of like it just raises the stakes. I'm like, oh, like shit's gonna be crazy when One Piece resumes in a month. Feel bad for Meowscard. His heart was in the right place, so of course he had to die. But yeah, we're in the end game of One Piece. If characters are just dropping like this now. Because we knew Cobra was dead, but now that we're just saying like, oh yeah, Meowscard dead, and I'm like,
and in an Oda box too. It wasn't like it was. You saw the body. We often say like.
No, we don't say that anymore because that's not.
It's not as true.
We used to say that like over 10 years ago, and I don't think it's a very
true anymore.
Good way of I don't think that's a good way of judging whether characters are dead in One Piece or not. But
maybe it's Corpus, man.
Corpus. Yeah, that's all I really gotta say. Like it's a good chapter, but I think I kind of like Joey's sentiments there. It's like it's not my kind of chapter. but it's good. It's your vegetables.
I think a lot of us read One Piece for the chapters where Buggy's getting the shit beat out of him because it's funny, and then like the Straw Hats interacting because we love them, and then less for being like, oh shit, this guy's name is Marcus. That's fucking crazy. I can't wait to go power scale with that.
Well, one of us hasn't spoken yet.
I'm sorry.
We're less about the clickbait and more about the fun bait.
The clown bait.
Oh
bait.
yeah, we love clown bait.
You see, I have the exact opposite opinion as you.
That's okay. You can't all be right.
Okay. I was gonna say this is my kind of chapter, so I'm here
I'm happy for
representing
you.
those.
That was a genuine. I'm happy for you.
Okay, sure.
I'm sorry, I just sound like this.
No, so I'm representing those of you listening who did this. This is the last two chapters, particularly last week, which I really wish I could have been on, but of course it happened while I was away. Have made me feel like the vibes I used to get watching Lost when it was good and when it was on the air originally. Particularly last week, a little bit of this week as well. Just that like kind of like what the hell is actually going on here, while also getting answers. Like it reminds, as a big astronomy nerd, and this I'm sure will come up a lot more in the coming years. I think the astronomers say something along the lines: the more you find out, the more questions appear. You know, when you find out more about the universe, you realize there are a million more questions that come out of it. And I love that is the approach Oda is taking at solving mysteries. And I think Steve was exactly right in that I think for us, these were a lot more obvious answers than it would be to I'd say 95% of the readers. But those listening to this podcast or very tuned into the One Piece community, the immortality or the age-defying fruit, that's at top of the mind. But like Oda's planted these little things for casual readers that they may be thinking about in the back of their head, but it hasn't it's not completely obvious. I think
even for people who have sort of surmised this, it does need to eventually be said,
Yes.
It needs to eventually be stated within the text what's happening so we can stop asking those questions. So in that way, it's good. It's like kind of a checklist of like,
right.
Yes, this is what this is. So now you can move on with other questions.
Right. And I think the reason why that hits me in a certain place, I think as a longtime One Piece fan, which we all are, is that we have been asking these questions for decades. And to start seeing the shroud lift is just like this. I think as a reader of a series that is 25 plus years old, it just feels like, oh wow, we really are getting to the meat here. We're 25 years later. We're like actually starting to get answers, and we're actually starting to wrap up this series. I think even the last panel did get me as a cliffhanger, but like the fact that we're kind of answering the mysteries behind Shanks, which we've discussed on this show up to this year, really had only been in the series for a couple panels, but obviously holds such an importance to our main character that seeing more about our character's mentor and what made him tick and so on and so forth. And speaking of Buggy and Shanks, Shuggy Nation should be rising up here because now we're learning a little bit about where that tsundere Shanks came from. Am I using all these right?
You've got the spirit.
Okay, I'm trying. It's Pride Month. I love all of this, even if it is not all breaking big news, as Morgans would put it. I want to piggyback off of something Steve said last week. I think Sabo in this little arc, I guess, whatever you want to call it, has really shown, like he's really been a beacon of growth. I besides him being Mr. Exposition, it's also just been nice, as was said before, seeing him do something. This really does, the reason I think this hits me so hard is because it really does feel like foreshadowing what we're going to see at the end of the series. The big battle, the big confrontation, the moral and ethical, like what I think, as Vero, you put it before, the sun and the moon, or whatever, the light and the dark, I think Oda is good enough to put in a lot more subtlety than you'd see in even Star Wars or something with good and evil, because there's a lot of shades in between, and Oda's usually really good at painting those shades. I am really excited to see more about these 6 guys on the 5 Elders and Emu in inevitable flashback. And now that we have names and positions, and I don't know what the hell the Nerona dynasty is, but I'm looked it up and it's some person's name and it means Nero in Polish, and that's all I was able to find. Yeah, great.
This Nero, the sea weasel, is back.
Yeah, Nero, the sea weasel. Oh wow, maybe
Nero,
Emu
the CD
is
burning software.
Maybe Emu is Nero, the sea weasel.
He
You
was
got a
just
big
out
promotion.
there on a
Yeah, he was
train.
like, I'm just gonna see what's going on here on this train. He's like,
Does Vero remember who Nero the sea
I know
weasel
who that
was?
one is, and I won't.
Okay.
I know who that one is.
Damn,
Do you know who-
That would have been a good trivia.
that would have been
Do you
Mayor
actually want to know
Boodle.
something really funny? I think like one of the first times I was ever on, you guys were like, "Do you know who this character is?" And I said no, but I did, and I was just I don't worry about it.
You were
okay.
embarrassed to tell us that
Yeah,
you knew an
I made
obscure
it
One
when I
Piece
was reading it.
character.
I posted a screen cap of him, and I was like, "Guys, hear me out." And everyone was like, "This is a bad pick," and I was like, "Yeah, I know. I'm sorry." And then we never talked about it again until now. So
And it was Nero.
it was Nero. Yeah.
The sea
Wow.
weasel.
See,
The head of the part of the Neroni dynasty. Nerona dynasty.
Oh, you mean my Eurona?
shut up.
Or no, never mind. Okay. Any other final thoughts? Now that we're
Yeah, I kind of going off of the like what Steve was originally saying about the ending not quite having the impact he wanted to feel. I sort of felt that way as well. I had, leading up to this, knowing that there was a 1 month break coming up, I kind of had like 2 different kinds of thoughts. I first of all was like, man, Oda loves to really hit the cliffhangers on week breaks when there's just like 1 week. Like, what is he going to do for like a month? He's going to really hit us with something where we can't wait to read the next chapter, but we have to wait a month, and it's so painful. But then I was also kind of thinking like this would be a good chance to like end this side stories segment and return to Egghead after this big month-long break. And I'm kind of wondering if that's what this is doing. Is it doesn't really feel like a huge period on the end of a sentence, but it doesn't also really give us any sort of like cliffhanger. So I could see kind of finishing here and then moving on to Egghead in 4 weeks.
I mean,
What
that's
do you
kind of
guys
what
think?
happened before the last month-long break.
Mm-hmm.
You had kind of, I mean, this is like a very new phenomenon in the One Piece community, these longer breaks. But, I mean, this one obviously was necessary as a medical procedure that he seemed necessary for his work. So I wonder also how much notice he, like, I wonder how much he knew he was headed toward that. That I think for the one around 1050, chapter 1050, there was it didn't feel like a huge cliffhanger because the fight had been resolved with Kaido, and I think you had just learned who the new 4 emperors were, and you were kind of closing the book on Wano. Obviously, there was like that extra tale of stuff to come, but yeah, I think the Ryokyu stuff was like hinted at the end of that, but that was the cliffhanger, and I agree with you. I do think that he is in the process of closing this chapter, so to speak. Yeah, I don't think we need a huge cliffhanger for 4 weeks. We're gonna all come back.
I guess.
I saw some people complaining that they were like, "Oh my god, another whole month break, blah blah blah," and I'm like, I don't know. I could be content with this man taking a whole month off every year for the rest of forever. He deserves it. He's a human being. So I don't know.
He deserves nothing. He must work for us. No, I agree. And
Sorry, that was a tangentially related thought.
I just
not-
wanted him to
It's
give us
worth
more of a
saying,
heads
for
up
sure.
so I could prepare content.
Yeah,
Because
well,
we can't take a month off.
you could. You have
No.
summer vacation.
No. We can't. Right, Steve? Yeah.
Well, my situation's kind of unique lately, so
That's true. Please support the writers. On that note, any other thoughts on the chapter?
Everybody should go on strike. Let's do it.
Wait, are you going on strike from this podcast? Am I management?
You are.
Capital
Steve? No, they actually call me Ethan Barron. Okay, that's going to do it for this segment. Let's move on to do some Piece Together.
Okay.
I think the One Piece podcast should unionize.
Yeah.
Right after these messages.
A union of guests.
Unionize
versus
against
the-
myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Zach is
The
really
only one who
set.
could pay
tyrant.
for the only one who could pay for my health care is me.
This is the Piece Together segment where we take your questions, comments, theories, and then ask Ethan Barron Cohen whether he indeed wants Vivi as his wife. So he could say, my wife.
Very nice.
It was a really long trajectory to get
No,
there,
it's okay. It was worth it.
You just started
My
that joke
wife.
and you just let it take you.
Yeah, I really did not know where that was going. I'm going to be honest. Ed, what's the first segment?
Well, Zach, that first segment is Displease.
And Vero, our
Hi.
what is it, godhead of social media? I got it wrong at the beginning.
I'm surprised you guys didn't fire me. Yeah.
You're a godhead.
Godhead.
You can't be
fire
fired.
me.
You're Saint Vero of something.
Venus would be the easy way to make.
But that was
the
taken
pun.
already. So.
I can take over.
Oh, okay.
Give me
good.
Pluto. I'm gonna still a planet in my heart. Ken of Red Lions says, I can't believe that after all this time, Saint Mac tonight has made an appearance. What other
There it is.
fast food mascots do you want the Holy Knights to resemble? Jack in the Box.
Okay, wait. We literally had an episode called The Grimu with the Grimace. So
Yeah, nothing can defeat the grimace. So.
Yeah.
No.
And he's the one that's keeping the shake machine from.
hey, Steve, we probably could have just reused that image and titled this week.
Oh, okay. Screw it. All right, that's what you're getting.
Yeah.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night,
Saint
Steve.
Noid.
Steve just leaves.
Saint Noid.
Okay, now that's a good.
He steals pizzas from the people.
We're out of food. Our pizza.
Avoid Noid.
Oh my God.
No, it can't be. That's the opposite of the.
Avoid denoid. Avoid, yeah.
I get it. What's next?
Super Nintendo Chalmers says, wait a minute. The Godhead of Justice is named Warcury? I've been calling him Mercury. Why didn't someone tell me? Oh, I've been making an idiot of myself.
Vero, do you know what that's a reference to?
I'm gonna assume The Simpsons.
You're correct.
Okay, cool. I was like, I hope someone gets this. When it's them, I just, I'm like,
Yeah, Super
I've
Nintendo
gotta-
Chalmers, it 100% of the time is
yeah,
the Simpsons.
I think that they're like my mortal enemy somehow,
Yes,
but like in a
yeah.
non-aggressive kind of way, just like
They're your rival.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
My arch enemy.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
It's my
and, like,
thing.
this-
It's what I do.
Saint Buggy D Cram ? Says, hey OPP, banger chapter as always. For anyone who's played Great Ace Attorney, holy shit, John Gurideb is here. Otherwise, no paragraphs. I'll keep it simple this time. Which of the 5 Elder Stars do you think would serve Emu steamed hams instead of steamed clams? I know that one.
That's a
I think
good question.
the blonde one.
No, you have to say
Yeah.
their name now. They have names.
Saint Jew.
Jew. Say Jew. The Jew there. Yeah, that's what you're saying.
You can say that. I can't.
I can. None of you can.
Yeah.
Except for Joey. And Ed sometimes. but
Sometimes.
On odd
And maybe
days.
the boy.
Yeah, I'm a sometimes as well. I
Oh,
guess.
yeah, okay. Even
Um,
days for Joey,
yeah, I
odd
don't know.
days for Ed.
Saint Ho Mercury. I don't know. Homer.
Oh,
Anyway.
No, it was Skinner.
They're also serious looking. That's the problem.
That's true.
They're all Chalmers. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have no idea what I'm saying right now,
No,
Vera.
I've seen that clip 5 million
Okay.
times.
Well,
I've
it
seen
is
so
a
many
meme.
edits of that. It's okay.
Yeah.
I know that one. If it's a memed Simpsons thing, then I would know it. So
I think, here's the answer. Sakazuki is Skinner. And the 5 of them are all Chalmers, and he's always trying to impress them, and he fucks up every time.
King Doji says
Akainu feels more like Leopold. Remember Leopold?
Oh, yeah, he is Leopold. So what is it, Fujitora then? But he doesn't
No,
care.
stop doing this.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Anyway, King Doji says, OPP, whose death hit harder, T-Bone or Mjosgard? It's T-Bone.
T-Bone,
Yeah.
who's not dead, but T-Bone.
Except for Mjosgard is actually dead. Yeah, that's the thing. That hit.
But T-Bone still hit harder. Like, look,
yeah.
Mjosgard reformed, but he's still a Klansman, as I mentioned earlier, as the title. Believe that's
Jeez,
the
Zach.
official.
He's taking
Guys.
no prisoners.
No, it's like
He's like, hey,
it's
yeah,
like a
except
Nazi who
Mjosgard's
reforms.
like,
I
I'm-
don't care that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe the like few minutes reading that chapter initially where I thought that T-Bone was dead, I had more feelings
Yeah.
than I do now, knowing that Mjosgard is actually dead.
Yeah. I think it is a good thing to happen in the story, and I guess he was somewhat of a sympathetic character for a celestial dragon, certainly. But I'm not going to be crying over that at any point in the future. Probably. Vera.
Hopkins hat says, "Hey OPP, how it be? I don't know where Pell is flying, or flying to, but he should be calling his miracle worker of a doctor to revive the king. Anyways, why do you think Big News Morgans hasn't gotten a bounty on his head yet? The man beats up a CP0 agent and published big news that he wasn't supposed to. And now he's harboring a man who knows the world's biggest secret? How much longer before he's apprehended?"
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked he hasn't been poisoned with something.
Something about media immunity or something?
Yeah.
You know, like when
Well,
they
no,
wear
not
the
in this
hat
world.
during war and they're like
Yeah.
allowed to not get shot or something.
Yeah, but they would shoot him.
He's in a balloon. It's like
He's
have
in
to
a
catch me.
balloon. Yeah, balloons. Yeah, you're right. Balloons are indestructible. There's no way they'd be able to get him.
Only to humanity, not to birds.
It's true. I still refuse to believe he has a devil fruit. He is just a bird. He is a
Yeah.
freaking bird. And do not ruin this for me, Vivre cards.
I would like him to just be a bird as well. I
Thank
don't need
you.
him to be. Aren't minks just mammals though?
Right. I think he,
He
should
could be a
the
special
bird.
one.
He should be the bird equivalent of a mink.
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
they have them. They're just like up on a sky island, like in Zelda now. So
Yeah.
Jew Peter Griffin says, "Hey Lois, I mean OPP, I really just need some I really just need some top, man. Could really use some godhead right now. So do we think Emu has Uranus? I could also
Is that one
use some
just
top,
for you,
Peter
Vero?
Griffin. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Happy Pride, everybody. Nami Vivi Truther, happy face, says, "What's up, VTubers? If Luffy is Joy Boy and Sabo is Sad Boy, what is Ace? Dead Boy. And you can't say dead D-Boy or deceased D-Boy." And as Steve said,
man.
we won't ask you guys how... Well, hold on. As Steve said, we don't ask how you guys are. How are you? Are you drinking enough water? Getting work done on time? Hanging out with loved ones?
Yes.
I think that's
You know,
it.
I always think of my favorite rap group, the Deceasedy Boys.
But
There's your answer.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
These names are so cute. Everybody's so creative. Again, I sound sarcastic saying that. And I'm genuinely not. Re D verse eye patch says, "Hey, paisanos, I'm sure Steven has already explained the translations because of all the new names. But just in case, can we talk about Mother Frame versus Mother Flame? Mother Frame sounds cooler and could mean anything from a computer to a transport mechanism to a nice way to hang a picture, while Flame could connect to Vegapunk's idea for everlasting free energy and invokes the idea of the sun. But enough about the sun. When is Zach going to get a matching haircut with Garling so he can show off his love for the moon?" Yeah, Zach.
I just got a haircut. I wish I knew this
You
chapter
could have
happened
told
before.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. In Italian.
barber.
gotta grow that beard out farther too.
Yeah. It's true. I'm almost there.
I'm working on it.
I did want to mention, and I think Sai may have posted this in our Discord before I forget, the ADHD thing again, Vera, is that the Capone thing that's at the end of the pre-time skip stuff where he gets sucked up into the thing in the new world, I think people have
Oh.
been mentioning as potentially related to this. I don't know. I think
That's
is a
interesting.
cool idea. Like that is one of those like mysteries that have kind of never been answered, so it is possible. It could also just be, isn't the new world crazy? It has this. And you just never find out what it actually was.
He met Jean Jacket from Nope, but survived.
There we go.
So, yeah.
I'm curious to hear from Steven for sure. Hopefully he'll touch on the naming stuff in the STS, because like the Mother Flame thing is like basically as simple as like, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
He had to make a choice. That's the choice that he went with, and seems fine to me. But all of the like particular spellings of all of the like elders and stuff was so interesting to me. Just like the kind of decision making he had to make. I don't think this is the case where like Oda had the English written out behind the Japanese text or anything like that, but I don't know. So I'm really looking forward to hearing Steven talk about that stuff.
I want to say I begged him to be on today. Begged. He couldn't though. He had
Like a
personal
dog.
obligations.
Yeah.
I always.
It was true. Can confirm.
When people say like a dog, I assume that's a compliment because dogs are awesome.
At that
So,
game, yeah.
so true.
Thank you, Vero.
Yes.
Yeah, we
That was-
really love when Zach is all like, "Steven, can you come on the podcast tonight?" No, I can't. Sorry, Zach, I'm busy. And Zach just goes, "Oh."
That's what Lucy sounds like. What's next, Vero?
Sailor Karna says, "Hey, OPP, am I the only one who wants Oda to take longer breaks? No. I want him to come back refreshed and renewed and dropping fire on us before taking a long nap. Do you think the fandom would appreciate him taking longer breaks? I think fuckheads
No.
who were in the comments being like, he needs to be my content machine, would not. And I think any sane, rational person who's ever worked a job and isn't 15 years old would be like, yeah, he should have a vacation.
No, as a 15-year-old, I really would have liked a vacation from school more often.
I'd say, for the next month, go outside, touch grass. I don't know. Come up with a hobby.
If you're allergic to grass.
Half the people
grass,
complain.
eat
Half the
ass,
people
happy
complain.
pride.
Half the people complaining probably steal the manga anyway. So
Half. More than that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hee hee. Yeah, I saw somebody who I was like, damn, I thought you were cool being like, "Oh, ew, I'm like, it's fucking eye surgery. Leave the man alone.
Plus, he's probably gonna like. This is the one thing he could take a break from and probably come back better at what he does.
Yes.
Like, if you want better material, first of all, give the man a break. Second of all, eye surgery is probably going to really help.
I feel like I could actually rant about this, and I won't. So, but it makes me sad that people don't respect.
We'll save that for the month we have off, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll just go on. I'll be like, you guys saw what you did to the Hunter x Hunter guy. I mean, they didn't do it to him, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
The Hunter x Hunter guy. I should know his name. Togashi? Question mark?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, I was worried to say it wrong and then be more of a jackass. Anyway, Big Mike says, I was able to prevent the Fujofication of the podcast so far. So my question for the week is, what does Robin write her love letter? What does Robin write in her love letters she sends to her girlfriend Koala? P.S. Congrats
like
on
that pairing.
14 years OPP. It still feels like only yesterday when I started listening to your podcast over a decade ago when I was recovering from laser eye surgery, and now Oda is having laser eye surgery.
Oh.
There you go.
Anyway,
Full circle. Yeah.
I wish you guys so much success, even when you guys are still doing the podcast decades after the series ends, and you're just bitter old men complaining about the woke reboot about Luffy and Hancock's daughter, who rejects Luffy's libertarian pirate over Hero's philosophy on not sharing meat and leads the gender-inclusive Kuja pirates on a mission of social justice. Sign me up! I'm reading Two Piece.
Wait.
When that comes out.
Half of that sounded great. Half of that sounded abysmal. Like there was woke libertarian. I like that
think
part.
it was all very
Zach's already getting a head start on this podcast.
No, first of all, we're already bitter old men. All five of us. And second of all, I have nothing else to say.
Robin's love letters. Come on.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
Robin tells Koala
in
she
my
has pretty
observation,
hair.
Robin loves just like watching the other crewmates' antics. Like she's always kind of drawn off to the side giggling. And so I anticipate, like, I would guess that her letters to Koala are like, oh man, you wouldn't believe what Usopp did the other day, blah, 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 blah. And telling just the funny stories of her friends on the ship.
I love this. I think she'd be like, wow, Koala, it was so hot when you suplexed Saba the other day because you like took the last piece of bread or some shit.
By the way,
She
if
put
we
like
recall,
cute images in the margins.
Yeah,
like what
yeah,
That's what I was
Robin,
gonna say.
Robin thinks is cute. Yeah.
which
yeah,
are probably
stickers.
creepy, weird things, but in cute little drawings. Robin and
If you-
Koala. I don't know if that one I haven't heard as much. Like I've heard it,
It's-
but it's a
I
good
think
one.
people are so married to Sabawala that they like don't consider the other. But I don't know. If I was
Sabawala,
Koala,
Sabawala, night and day, Sabawala.
That's the worst pairing name.
it's cute.
Sabawala gets knocked down, but they get back up again.
Yeah. Okay. If you had to grow up with Sabo and you were eventually like, okay, holding hands, and then this like hot kind of gothy, smart lady shows up and
No,
she's
I'm
like,
not saying it's a
little
bad
giggly
match.
about you, I'd be like,
I'm not saying it's a bad match. I'm saying that name is awful.
Sabawala. It
Sabawala.
rolls off to the tongue. There are so
It
many-
rolls off
there-
something.
There are so many other worse ones.
Name 3.
I have a
Just
list
go
in
to the
front
next
of me.
question.
You know what's a great name? Cross Guild. Sometimes you get just a really good shipping name and you're like, that's great. Sheep Man says, hey, howdy OPP. Banger of a chapter. There's a lot of interactions that will definitely happen that our people are anticipating, i.e. Luffy and Shanks, Usopp and Yasop. But what other interactions are you guys looking forward to? I'm looking forward to any that happened between Vivi and Sabo, Robin and Vivi, Jinbei and Hack, Barto with the rest of the Straw Hats he hasn't met yet, among others. It's so funny you say that because when I was doing research for YAOI Thunderdome, I came across a bunch of Vivi and Sabo fics, and I was like, "What the fuck are we doing here?"
I
Like
on a completely
I do,
yeah. Go ahead.
go ahead. No.
No, I was just gonna say on a completely tangential note. I think this was said a little last week too. I really am looking forward to Vivi reuniting with the Straw Hats.
Yeah.
And I did forget to mention that this week. I think it's really cool how Oda is bringing her back into the main story, and now we could really see the trajectory that her return could take. Like, we knew it was going to happen at some point, but we didn't know how or when.
Yeah, there's no point for her to go back to Alabasta at this point.
Exactly. I think it's really well done to see. Well, now she has a specific connection to Sabo and Luffy here. I think Sabo is now, besides just Ace 2.0, he has motivation to be part of the main story and to really affect the main story in an interesting way. And his connection to Vivi potentially is really interesting. Now that pairing is probably, as you said, I could see actually popping up a lot more.
Good for you guys.
Yeah.
Have fun with it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see more Vivi and Nami. And also just Vivi. Yeah. And Emu and Vivi.
Reunion.
I would
there-
like to see the Nami Vivi reunion, like just for whatever. I don't know.
Are there any fanfics with Emu and Vivi? You know, a mysterious black blob and Vivi?
Hold on. I'm gonna get that.
You're really
I
gonna do
can't
this?
actually. Hold on. I'll get that
No, you
answer
can do it
later when I'm not
after.
reading questions. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. I hope the answer is no.
So do I. But it's
I
definitely
saw-
yes.
Somebody, never mind. Straw Hat Pirate 9 says, long time no dispiece. I've loved the last couple podcast episodes, you guys. Laughed so hard at many of your conversations. This one was one heck of a chapter to leave off on for 4 weeks. That last time we had a break like this was the time skip. And I'm kind of grateful that, like then, it wasn't a nail-biting cliffhanger. We got introduced to a new character and had some questions answered. Very satisfied with leaving it like this for the break. I hope Oda's surgery goes well and he has a good recovery and rests up.
You see, we have good fans. We don't have any of those
Yeah.
fans who are
Yeah.
like, hey,
Well
Oda,
said, Straw Hat Pirate 9.
work harder, Oda.
Wait, I think he should work less hard. A to Z fan says, Dr. Vegapunk, good news! S-Croc has been completed. Let me see. This is our clone of Crocodile. It looks nothing like him. Well, yes, it's a child clone. You do know how aging works, right? No. You see, brand recognition is very important. Doctor, what are you doing with that knife? Doctor! Very cute.
I like that we finally got an explanation.
Yeah.
There we go.
Doctor, no!
Some Frankenstein stuff right there.
Yeah.
Felix Storm says, ahoy, OPP. So it was Emu who decided to wipe out Lelouch with Vegapunk's weapon, Mother Flame. What a dirtbag. Didn't we already? Okay. One thing that still bugs me, why not use it all on rebel countries? Or why not use it on all rebel countries? Could the reason why be connected to St. J. Garcia been on Egghead?
Well, it sounds like they just used it for the first time, so.
Right.
Yeah.
It's exactly
I
like
think-
the Death Star.
They're
Yeah, I was
powering
going to
it
say.
up.
Yeah. I think they're using it much like, I mean, first of all, we know Oda's a big Star Wars fan, so this shouldn't, the similarities to this and the Death Star are palpatinable. And I think,
Boo.
I'm sorry, it accidentally
No.
slipped out. Shut up. And so, I think the original intention of that was to squash rebellion through fear. And it seems like they want the word to get out as to what this is. They probably shouldn't have hidden it behind a bunch of clouds, and also killed everyone who saw it. I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about Alderaan and the Death Star, but I don't know.
You know, eventually someone's going to be like, damn, I was supposed to go deliver something here. I was going to get my
Well, there was a
groceries.
mysterious
There's
disappearance
no
of-
island now.
Everyone knows there's a mysterious disappearance of Lelouch, but no one knows why it happened,
That's fair,
including
yeah.
us. I mean, we know why, but we don't know
Because it
what,
was close.
what it was. Because it was
I
close.
didn't get to say, I found that a little terrifying. I was like, oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's just like evil for the sake of being evil.
It's like it reminded me of the Hody Jones thing with the nothing being the. I think just the fact that he has, or that Emu has so much power that he's just able to make a decision like that based off of literal proximity is really cool and very chilling, and I really liked it. I think that was yeah.
Last one. Brute says, hey, OPP, do you think Oda has had the names of the elders written down in the notebook since like 2001? He introduced them over 20 years ago, and I thought that he might just leave them nameless for the whole story, but now we see he wanted to wait for the right time. It's so fascinating to me seeing names that Oda was thinking about before many readers were even born.
I don't. I think he just came up with these. Except maybe he knew the planetary. I think he probably knew the planetary tilt. The rest of them, I feel like that
he
feels
famously
very
came up with
recent.
the supernovas
On the day
spot,
that he did it. Yeah.
So I mean,
Bro.
yeah.
The reason I think
never know.
the planetary names were planned is because the ones that are missing are Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune. Poseidon. And so obviously those seem to fit into this naming convention. I'm wondering if Emu and Sun have some sort of or
More like
Verona.
moon.
Yeah, I guess. No, I like it. That's a good Zach theory. I like it.
Yeah.
So that's it for.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm the only one who answered that. Did anyone else want to?
They were like, Pluto's not a planet anymore, and he's in his sketchbook like, fuck, I gotta get rid of this character.
Yeah, that's true. When he created Pluton, I think Pluto may have even still been
He's
super
like, God
long
damn
ago.
it.
Yeah.
I remember being in school and people being mad about it. We were like, what are you fucking
by the
talking
way-
about?
Yeah. Pluto also, we now know since was it New Horizons, is very cool looking. Let's move on to our.
I thought you meant the Animal Crossing game, and I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, you don't remember that part of New Horizons where you go to Pluto? It's you
I didn't
take
get that
one of the
DLC.
you take one of those boats with the Kappa guy.
Yeah, I was about to say, Cap'n sings the whole journey.
Going to Pluto. Oh my God, Steve! What a good impression of that. Thank you. That is terrifyingly good. Ed, what's the next segment?
Oh yeah, Zach. Why don't you answer some emails? Email.
How many people here now in this verb get a strong bad reference?
They still make them.
Wow. I'm just getting blank stares all around here.
I mean, I get it.
I know strong bad. I listen to
Thank
so
you,
many
Joey.
strong bad emails.
Thank you, Joey.
I get it. It's not funny, but I get it.
Zach.
I mean,
Yes.
I'm not surprised by the strong bad emails because it's been happening for over a decade.
I know.
I'm interrupting this question to inform everyone that there are no emu fics, but there is emu in Sabo. So the
Wow, they work
Fujoshis
fast.
prevail. Yeah.
Well,
Four
we
of
don't
them.
know what gender emu is, to be fair. Literally, they are just
I was actually
You can go back
like,
and add
I
the
would
YAOI
love
tag
emu as
later.
yeah.
a woman. It
Yeah.
could totally be. There's no. What emu is a very angry lesbian woman who really wants Vivi.
Wow.
These are just
I desire
made up
Vivi.
names.
Yeah, maybe it's just Vero under the.
That you've said too much. I gotta go.
Oh. Wait, are you gonna don't take out any islands? So the first email comes from Crazy Chains. I've been reading the manga To Your Eternity, and it's about an immortal being who has to stay alive forever when all his friends die. Later on in that series, they talk about more serious topics like suicide and depression, and I was wondering how you would feel if One Piece started talking about darker topics like what kind of drugs Zoro takes, or how Luffy is going to have PTSD when he sees Akainu, or finally, how would it feel if cannibalism is going to be a plot point like Sanji's nosebleed? Sorry for the long email.
But
Keep up the good work.
All of those things have already been in the series.
Not the
Right?
drugs. The PTSD.
Yeah,
The
and,
PTSD
and,
definitely.
and eating your own leg.
Oh, you're right. There was cannibalism.
And eating your childhood friends.
Oh yeah, that also
Yeah, that's
Big
right.
Moms.
Again.
Yeah, there are darker themes. Oda is, because it is such a comedic series, he is able to put some really freakishly dark stuff in, surrounded by ridiculous looking and sounding people like here this week. They commit genocide on an island, but boy aren't their names funny. And we have one more
That's the beauty of
email.
it.
I know it. He knows what he's doing. Okay, this is our last email. Dear OPP Sensei, or I think this is our last one. Dear OPP Sensei, it's Pride Month. Can I do some quote unquote male bonding with Yamato and quote unquote cross swords with Okiku? I don't get this at all. I don't really see what that has to do with Pride. But
Happy Pride, everybody.
Okay, sure.
Need top.
Top man.
Need top, man.
His name is Top Man.
Need top, comma, man.
Top Man. Ed! What's the segment after? Oh, wait, why am I asking you? It's the subreddit archipelago. I haven't looked at these, so let's hope that I'm not repeating things. Okay. Let's start with Izanagi, who says, great chapter. Something that has always bothered me and is never questioned is why did the Nefertari, who are supposed to be portrayed as, quote-unquote, the good guys, why were they part of the 20 kingdoms that got together to defeat the ancient kingdom? Seems like hypocrisy to be part of an alliance that contributed to the ancient kingdom's downfall and then be like, nah, I don't want to be a celestial dragon. Thoughts? I would
It
also
will be interesting to find out.
yes.
Yeah.
Do we really know if the ancient kingdom was quote unquote good? We know exactly. Do we know the world government is bad? Yeah, they do a lot of bad stuff, but that doesn't necessarily mean the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Yeah, I'm not saying they're definitely bad, but there might be more subtlety to it.
Yeah. They think that they're protecting the world against something.
Yeah.
Rather than just being the conquerors of the world. They think that they're protecting the uninformed peasants from an even worse fate or something like that. It's possible.
I could see Emu being very misguided and as time goes on becoming more and more contorted and in his reasoning. I like this.
the sort of big robot ancient robot that they found on Egghead definitely reminds me of Nausicaä and that sort of thing of
There's been so much happening, I fucking forgot about the robot. I need to go back and read. I was like, oh my god, there was a fucking robot.
You forgot about the robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's easy to forget. I like this next question. E7 Gambler says, hey, OPP, once the series is over, what is some merch that you guys would want after it ends? I think a complete map of the world would be really awesome. I'm going to one-up this person, and then I'm going to shut up. A globe.
That would be really cute.
That.
And I want a little Nami autograph or something in the... Well, it would be a corner if it was a map, but...
Like a Nami with the little, orange and her tattoo thing or something.
Yeah, it's something that depicts, the characters through the years, from childhood to wherever they end up at the end of the story. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it would be, an art print or a book even or something would be interesting to see.
I don't want to think about it. It'll make me sad.
I know. The one thing I've always wanted, and I think I've mentioned this on the show before, are Oda's books, the campus books that he writes everything. I want an unabridged, just push those out. I don't care how messy it is, what's in it, drawings of
or an
things.
Annotated One Piece where he has comments about stuff.
I just want to see his process. Sketches are some of my favorite things. So I
feel like this is more of a Western thing, but man, if there was just a making of book, say I don't know, the first thing I thought of was just the Venture Brothers art book. That's such a very God. It's thank you, Joey, because that's such an intimate look into the making of the show, because it's literally just Ken Bloom interviewing the two creators. That Oda just talking about oh yeah, back in 2002, all right, Jai, this was going on in my life at this moment.
Yeah,
it's kind of what he did for the first 3 volumes of the magazine. That was the closest thing we've ever gotten to that.
Yeah. I think he would do that at the end. Yeah, go ahead, Joey. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. The text blurbs and the color walks. As much as I love the beautiful reproductions of all the artwork in the color walks, I get really excited by just reading all of the little comments that he makes about some of them. And some of them are just oh, I thought it would be fun to draw these animals or something. But sometimes it genuinely is this person said this to me and it made me decide to draw this, thing. And so I'm always very interested to read that kind of stuff.
I just realized I was reading last week's questions, but I don't think you guys asked those. So, right? And
emails.
They had interesting. No, Reddit. These are Reddit. So I'll ask a couple from this week. First one's from None Easy, says, question for Steve. Do you think the Five Elders plan to crush the revolutionaries and pirates this March or next March?
I think it's going to be many marches from now.
Yeah,
don't
I
think it's gonna
agree.
be-
They
I don't
might
think
lead
it's
a
gonna be-
march.
But next March is 2024, right, Steve? I mean, obviously.
Pride started as a
25,
march.
sorry.
I mean a riot.
Or 20. Yeah, no, 20. This March is 2023, by the way, for the record. It happened. Next question. Sanji is so kind asks, how well can Sanji behave himself at a pride parade?
Okay, like what era of Sanji? That's
This
like
is a good question.
Because
Let's
like
forget about Fishman Island, Sanji.
I
Whole Cake Island, Sanji.
Whole Cake, he's too fucking sad to be at Pride.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But you know
No,
what?
the end of Whole Cake Island, like when he's with pudding with the Sanji's cream.
You know what? You could get Sanji in an ally shirt, but he would be like a little too enthusiastic about the rainbow ally shirt that he's wearing, and then like a drag queen would give him like some beads, throw him some, and be like, "Here you go, little twink," and he's like, "I am not," and then he'd be like really happy about it and hang those up in his room. I don't. What was the question? How well would he be? He'd be fine if it's Whole Cake Island. I think maybe this is the delusional me talking. Not Oda's writing. I think that he could be so great, and then he'd pull our half dress there, so he might need to go to the medic for the nosebleeds though. So, yeah, I don't. Oh,
Next question comes from Ricky.
Bitchin'.
Next question comes from Ricky Raccoon, who says, "Hey OPP, semi-long-time listener, first-time commenter. This is for Steve. Wow, Steve's popular today. If he's on, which he is, at MomoCon, when you were with, I was going to say Sungwon, Pro ZD, you met a guy doing a casual cosplay of Luffy who made a Fishbonin spin-off joke, and he said apparently you and Sungwon had a good laugh about it. My question is, did you actually find it that funny? Because the guy who asked that is my friend, and I have to confirm his story."
Your friend is a liar. Your friend is not funny.
What?
Never asked me that question. No, that did. I can't fake a belly laugh. So
That's true.
Yeah,
And you'll hear it down the
that
hall.
Your friend met Sungwon, got a photo. I think got like a photo with him or something. And then he was walking away. He's like, "Oh, by the way, looking forward to the Dr. Fishbone and Cat Viper spinoff," and it caught me by surprise, and I got a good laugh out of me. So, yeah, your friend is cool. I guess I don't know if you want confirmation on that. Yeah, it's like one of those things. Like, oh, you actually? It's like you don't know Steve, and I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Yeah, it was actually funny. That was a legit laugh. Believe your friends.
I was worried this
Confirmed.
was going to be the person who dropped the technically she's 400 or whatever at Sungwon's panel. I thought it went in a different direction.
The rating anime wives and husbands panel.
I think this is going to be the last Reddit one we're going to do. This one's interesting, though. Bortolomeo says, "Hey, OPP, I'm sure you've already commented." We have not, before I even say it, on the Marie Antoinette reference and the parallels between Vegapunk and the mother frame with Einstein and the atomic bomb, which I actually did mean to mention. But another historical reference is also how the name Nerona is probably based on the Roman Emperor Nero, and Nero was a cruel tyrant who sentenced many political adversaries to death and was even accused of starting the Great Roman Fire, which killed many innocent civilians, much like what Emu did with Lucia. Also, Nero is Italian for black, which is very fitting for such a shadowy character. It's the opposite. We got the second part of that, but not the first. I mean, I really do. I think there are a lot of. I didn't want to be cliche in mentioning that a Japanese manga has references to the atomic bomb.
Well, the ancient weapons have always sort of been implied to be on that level, like the way
Right.
they're spoken of. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is probably Uranus. I forgot to also mention that because I don't remember. I think
I thought it was. I didn't know it was my Uranus. I thought it was Uranus.
no, it's Uranus. No, in all
No,
serious.
I thought it was. It was Uranus, not
Okay.
my Uranus.
Are we stuck in this loop now? Can we?
Boys,
I
you're both
wonder-
ready.
Uranus is on. Whose Uranus is on first?
Fuck you.
Vero's correct. Vero's correct. I want to say the One Piece Connection, published and on our website, onepiecepodcast.com. I did originally theorize and speculate that the Uranus weapon was a flying weapon. I think partially because of the myth of Uranus, and it has something to do with flying and giants and a lot of that stuff. So I think this fits in pretty damn well into that. Also, we already know what Poseidon is, and we know Pluton. We know where that is. So by process of elimination, we know which ancient weapon this would be, and it's extremely heavily implied that that's what it is from Ivankov, which I'm going to take their word here. I think I'm going to leave it there since a lot of the other questions we have addressed and are mostly for Steven, who is not here. So, Ed, that's what's the last part of this Piece Together segment called?
Well, Zach, the last part is Piece the Tweet. Yeah.
Oh, that's what it's called.
Yeah. It's Piece the Tweet time. First one comes from Joey Miller, who says, "Hey, OPP, with another character biting it this week, I gotta ask, what's your favorite death in the series? It doesn't have to be impactful. Heck, it could even be hilarious like the giraffe who got juiced on whole cake. Let's get morbid." It's Eric the Whirlwind. Dead man. Dead man from the anime.
Right.
Yeah, I don't.
Overboard.
Murdered by Nami.
Nami murders him.
Yeah, I don't think you could top that.
No, my serious answer is Hero Luke.
Yeah, Hero Luke went out
Yeah.
like a fucking boss.
Mine's Bellamere.
So did
I think.
Whitebeard.
Whitebeard. I was gonna say Whitebeard.
Belmere's good
Bellamere,
too.
yeah.
Whitebeard's good. Olvia, which we don't see, but that interaction breaks my freaking heart with Olvia and
Yeah.
Robin. Especially because they use an actual kid, as I've mentioned this before, as the voice actor in the anime. It is heart-wrenching. Oh God, I'm gonna cry thinking about that.
When I was
Ed,
reading the
what's up?
manga, there were some parts where my friends were like, okay, when we get to this part, stop and go look up the anime clip so then you can watch it while you're reading it. And then it was my roommate. I walked into his room and I'm like sobbing and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you tell me to do that? Right? Like immediately after reading it.
They're like super well done.
Yeah.
And they're great, and they like do what is set out to do in that. But Jesus fuck, those are
Oh, yeah.
like so. That's like those are the hardest scenes in the series for me to watch. The manga is powerful, don't get me wrong, but the anime, Jesus Christ,
It's the voice crack.
it's the voice. Yeah. Oh God, that whole thing. And now as a parent, like additionally an extra exponential amount that hurts.
I think I may have told this story on the podcast before, but who knows? It was a long time ago. I had some friends that were reading the manga, and I remember having a conversation with them about Bink Sake and being like, "Oh, they're actually you should watch the like anime clip of that so you can actually hear what this song sounds like." So I pulled it up on YouTube, and we were watching it, and you know it was cool at first, and then they were like, "Are we gonna have to sit through watching all of his crew die now?" Like, yeah.
You're like,
That
I didn't
part
wanna
that
do
is
this.
very sad too. Yeah. I love Brooke, and I feel like he's underutilized a lot. But yeah, that's a good story as well. Speaking of real life situations and mental health conditions that come up, he has a ton of that. What's next, Ed?
All right, the next one comes from Sean Beals, who says, "I know Figureland is supposed to be a big deal, but all I can see is Mac tonight. Anybody else?" Yes.
Yes.
No.
Definitively say yes to that.
Please check out our Patreon for some good Steve sketch. Ed.
All right, next one comes from Shaheen, who says, "Hey, OPP, do you think that after this week's chapter, if Wapol would have been in Ennie's lobby, reaching Robin would have been a lot simpler. I hope you guys are staying safe with Canada's wildfires going on right now. Is there any news on the Netflix live action show? Well, keep your
Next
7
week.
days. Yeah, next week.
Next week,
For
I
the
think
live
there'll be
action.
news. Yeah.
But yeah, it would have been easier to get to Robin. Just have Wapol bite through the walls.
No wall can stand in the way
All right.
of Wapol.
Okay, and last piece of the tweet comes from Alien Jellyfish, who says, "What happened with Vivi and Mjosgard supports the lesson that you can't rely on a good guy with power to solve a corrupt power regime. Only revolution. Why do the Fishman royalty participate in the reverie? Does this show there's no hope for change from within?" Well, I think the reason for the Fishmen attending the reverie is it's pretty well explained through.
Yeah, I think that
Otohime's
flashback does a
flashback,
good
yeah.
job, but yeah. I think with them it's a little different too because they've been ostracized from society, and it's more than like trying to take down a corrupt government. This is more of like trying to rejoin as an effort to like rejoin everyone else in the world. It's a different idea than, but I do agree generally that Mjosgard probably didn't have a very high chance of succeeding there, and as bore fruit. What's next, Ed?
That was the last one.
That was the last one. Okay, so we're gonna round up in a second and do a little. I think Vero. Are we gonna have some?
Yeah, it's Pride Edition, so there's no straight people allowed in this one.
Yeah,
Shipwise,
we
you guys
Later.
are all here, but you know.
No, it's our favorite. So we're gonna have some YAOI Thunderdome and round off right after these messages. Been the One Piece Podcast, episode 773 for June 12th, 2023. Before we go around and play some YAOI Thunderdome, I am very excited for the stuff that we're going to be doing over the next few months, or for the next month particularly. We're going to have Henry Thurlow on next week and the week after to talk about his work in episode 1066. He is the first foreign animation director for One Piece, and it's super cool. We're all really super proud of Henry, and I'm really excited to see that episode, and I'm sure future ones that he works on. On June 18th next week as well, we're going to be covering the Netflix. Ed, how did you pronounce the event again?
Tudum.
There we go. It can't be pronounced any other way. Netflix, please give Ed money for that. So Vero and Steve will be heading out our new podcast, which I'm all I'm going to say is I think the plan right now is to have our kickoff next week, and we're going to have at least an episode a month or so leading up to the premiere, whenever that is. Then on July 3rd, we have the voices of King, Queen, and Jack. Bill Butts, Gabe Kunda, and Major Attaway will be on, not in that order. And then we have our next installment of the SGS with Greg and Steven to round off that. And I think I could announce that Steve, your predecessor in ProZD Does Games, will be on July 17th to welcome us back to the manga.
Oh, yeah. We do games. You know nothing of my work, Zach.
I listened to it. I just don't remember that part of speech that goes in between there.
Plays. We play.
No, you do
games.
it. You do the games.
That's true.
It's Pride Month.
I'll do you.
Well, it is Pride Month.
Whoa.
This took a turn. Okay, we're gonna get to YAOI Thunderdome in a moment. Let's just hold off on all that. Vera, where can people find you?
You can find me wherever your little heart desires, probably at Ginkgo Crown.
Joey, where can people find you?
I'm at Joey Weiser on Twitter and Joey Weiser Comics on Instagram. Instagram's more art focused, whereas my Twitter is all about the different, whatever I want to talk about, manga, anime, comics. I do usually have a thing or two to say about One Piece every weekend. And please check out my graphic novels, Merman, Dragon Racer, Ghost Hog. And in fact, I will be at Heroes Con in Charlotte, North Carolina this weekend, June 16th through 18th. In the past, I've met one or two listeners to the podcast there, and I'd love to meet more or see you again if I've seen you there before. I am going to be debuting several prints that I've never sold before, and among them is a One Piece print. So come out by and check it out. And even if you don't want to pick it up, we could talk about One Piece, talk about what we think about the newest chapters and whatever. So yeah, this weekend, June 16th through 18th, Heroes Con in Charlotte, North Carolina. See you there.
Joey's art is amazing, and if you have not picked up his stuff, please do. I'm not getting paid to say that. Although I just said that.
Thank
Sounds
you.
like I did. Steve, where could people find you?
You can check me out at steveyurko.com, Steve Yurko over at Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and of course, check out the channel ProZD Plays Games.
Oh, he does?
No, he plays.
He plays. Exactly. And
No,
I am
he Uranus. Uranus.
Stop.
Zach, you're annoying.
Leave him alone.
It's okay. Watch ProZD Plays Games where I get bullied.
Steve, I love you, despite you bullying me.
Love you too. If I never saw you again, I'd be okay. Love you though.
Wow. It's crazy that this is your last episode of the One Piece podcast, Steve.
Cool. Yeah. Ironic
yeah.
that I just agreed to just talk about the live action on another podcast. But,
Oh, you did? Okay.
oh my God, end the show.
Not before we play YAOI Thunderdome.
I know.
Where could the good people find us?
You are Zach_Logan on Twitter. I'm Edward E. One Piece. I'm on Twitter for the time being, I suppose. Podcasts can be found at the new and improved OnePiecePodcast.com. Twitter.com/OnePiecePodcast, Instagram.com/OnePiecePodcast, YouTube.com/OnePiecePodcast. OnePiecePodcast@gmail.com is our email address. Please support us. Patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. You can subscribe on Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio. Please subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, or call us on our phone number. Zach?
That phone number is 347-497-MAJI. That phone number again, 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Anytime.
With your questions, comments, theories, or how to avoid denoid. Yeah, so I think I have to throw things over to Vero to end our final manga chapter focused episode for the month with a special Pride Month YAOI Thunderdome.
Yeehaw. I want to say this earlier when Joey was talking, but I would feel bad if I didn't. Just as an aside, the amount of people who came up to, I don't know, probably also Steve, but me at MomoCon that were like, oh, I love the podcast. You guys are so sweet. And if you hear this, I appreciate you. And it is actually really kind and awesome. And you're not a bother, because some people were like, I'm sorry to bother you. Never. It was so nice. Anyway, let's go talk about YAOI. I'm gonna put you guys in tea.
Transitions.
Somebody specifically was like, I love the YAOI thing, and I was like, you're my fucking
That's really
hero.
awesome. I think
We
I said
love that.
to you when we were speaking recently, like, it's crazy that people actually are listening. Like, when you're in the podcast, you're just when you're doing the podcast, it's just us here.
Mm-hmm.
It's you don't realize there's other people. Yeah, so it's always cool.
Yes. Yeah. Zach, who do you want your buddy to be?
Who do I want my buddy? Well, not Steve. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I'll pick Joey because I know how much
Okay.
Joey loves trivia.
That was not a
Boy.
wise choice because Ed always wins.
I know
that's
Ed always
true.
wins, but I want to pick Joey because I didn't want to. I wanted
Yeah.
to change things.
I mean, Steven isn't here, so I think I do have a good shot of it.
Man, on an earlier episode before Zach went on vacation, there was a trivia that was like, This character is 36 years old and showed up in chapter 632. Who are they? And I was like, oh, this is a grim view of my future. But this is much more. I was like, you're not seriously not going to tell them anything about the characters? Okay, so here we go.
It's yaoi. It's
Yeah, this is
this is
neither
great.
of us know
Okay.
anything.
It's been
focused.
a while, and I don't think we've done it with Joey yet. So here's the rundown. I'm going to give you guys 2 ships, and I'm going to ask which one you think is more popular. We gauge popularity specifically based on a fan fiction website, and I just see how many fics are tagged with their relationship. I don't know if this helps skew your opinion. Sometimes people will miss correctly or, depending on tag, like even friendship fics or whatever with the relationship tag. So, yeah, you could be like, oh, maybe they're not kissing, but they're talking. Who knows? So, yes. And, okay. Because they've been on the mind, Zoe, do you guys think Nami Vivi is more or less popular than Shuggy?
By the way,
What's
Joey,
Shanks
we
and
haven't.
Buggy?
Joey, unlike I want to say the I don't even remember now the koala
Sabawala?
we have a great couple's name, Joey. I have
Zoe.
to say,
Yeah.
Zoe
It's
is a
good.
great.
So,
I have to say Nami Vivi, right, Joey?
yeah, that was my immediate thought.
It's
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
keep it
that's
simple.
correct. They're close, but it is
Yeah.
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
King
That
of
one
ships.
was too easy.
Yeah.
Stead.
Stead. I was trying to.
Or
it's really
or Eve.
No,
Eve. I'm
Okay,
doing
fine.
Eve. You know what?
Stedward.
Your guys' names
But that's
so
just
close
Steve's
to the Arflag
name.
means death ship.
Steadward.
Steadward.
Zoe and Eve.
Deadward.
Stedward sounds
it
like a
is.
One Piece.
Stedward's married to Oprah.
Saint Edward.
Oh yeah. Okay. Here we go. This one's maybe a little harder. I'm sorry. Karina and Nami, who I think is the one girl
Film
from
Gold.
fucking Film Gold.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm,
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Or Zoro and King. Who's more popular? And I'm gonna let you know both. No, a little hint. It's pretty low. Both of them.
I feel like the Karina thing sort of peaked, and then it's not like people are still writing new Karina fics. Probably.
No, probably not. But there was.
I don't know. I always tend to gravitate toward the Fujoshi pairing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
My tendency is
I-
towards Zoro and King.
I'm
Is
gonna
that
have to
final
agree
answer?
with you. Ed. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incorrect.
Wow.
Oh.
I'm
I
shocked too.
know.
That's
I saw that
shocking.
and I was like, no fucking way. Good for them.
How many did
King's
Zoro
a little
and
too
King?
new.
There's only 4, so I don't know what's happening there because I'm like, there definitely
There's
should be more.
Missing some boats
They're
there.
definitely doing King and Kaido though. Like they're going full hardcore
interesting.
into.
But that's like more. That's like more of a father-son relationship. I feel like than it. Well, in my opinion, I'm getting a look from
Zach,
Vera like
Zach's
I'm
not,
nuts.
Zach's not watching the anime.
Wow. No, they're leading into like a because they sort of.
I saw that
they're
episode.
literally paralleling the Zolu. Like they're literally doing the Zolu.
I also don't think that's a good pairing, but that's my opinion. Luffy is Ace.
I'm sorry. Like.
No, Luffy's Luffy. Ace is Ace.
Yeah, Ace is dead.
Okay, you just yelled at me for making like the same type of joke, you jackass.
Yeah, but it's
Zach,
me.
Zach, you have to think of it in this perspective. Gay people go fucking crazy for like a knight royalty AU trope. So if we could assign any because these bitches are out here writing AUs. So if we can, he's his first mate. He's his ride or die. He's gonna die for him. Come on.
I get that. I just personally don't
Exaggerated
subscribe
hand
to
motions. It's okay. You don't have to. I know what you think of our lifestyle during Pride Month. Really? Anyway,
I thought Steve beat me up earlier, but geez, that might be
I'm
worse.
sorry.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately just a little easy.
This is gang up on Zach Day, apparently.
Zoe, do we think that Pedro and Sanji, or Lucci and Sabo. It's more popular.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's another film gold pairing.
Pedro-san sounds.
Oh, that's what that's from. Yeah.
But also, people just like to be like, I want there are so many Kobe Sabo fics out there. Why did I just get Southern for a second?
I don't, because you are. But neither of those characters really interact all that much.
The power of the Fujo.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm just insulated.
I feel like the Pedro is kind of like in Sanji's arc.
Yeah.
In an arc that's a heavy Sanji arc. I kind of feel like that's the one.
I follow too many Pedro fans.
Getting you to
Vero.
retweet Pedro-san on Maine, that was crazy.
I didn't know that's what that was.
Is that your final
go with
answer?
that, so,
I thought
yeah.
they were friends.
Pedro-san?
Yeah.
How does
That's
that sound to you,
incorrect.
Zach? Oh, no.
Yeah. Which is crazy and wrong, and I need the masses to get out of here and give Sanji his cat boyfriend.
Yeah, especially since we retweeted it, apparently. That should be higher.
Listen, people are weird about the Mink shipping. There's a lot of people shipping Beppo and Law right now, and I'm like, but then I'm also like, I guess if I like Sanji and a giant cat, I can't.
I could think of several people in our crew / Discord who
would
have
hate that.
absolutely no problem with that. with the mink thing. Is what I'm saying.
We will not name them.
No, I'm not going to. They name themselves. I don't need to.
Steady. What did we call you guys again? I don't know.
Cue the
Steady.
image of Greg.
Stedward?
Stedward.
Oh, the image of Greg with fur.
I do appreciate that, like things are going well with myself and Ed right now. We're keeping things steady. We're going steady.
With 0.
Okay.
We'll see about that.
Yes.
We're getting into old man Yaoi cat. Wow, that
Finally.
was English. This one goes out to Josh and Brodsky, who cannot be here today because they're fucking buying Doshin without me.
I was gonna say they're buying Fujoshi right now.
They're buying.
Fujoshi? You can't buy Fujoshi.
I mean,
You are the Fujoshi.
you could buy a little.
Sorry, I meant
You commissioned
I
them.
No, he's
meant
right. Anyway, Crocodile and Dragon, or Sakazuki and Kuzan.
Dude, it's got to be something.
Yeah. I mean,
What was the other one? Crocodile and Dragon?
Those are
they
both weird.
never
I'm just
interacted.
gonna say.
Never interacted before, I don't think.
People like Crocodile. I don't know if Fujoshi's like Dragon like that though.
I could
would've
name
never-
one.
Never met one.
Who doesn't like Dragon like that?
It's got to be Sakazuki. It's
gotta be.
Fire
Yeah.
and Ice, right?
Yeah.
Icy Hot, right?
Mhm.
Icy Hot. All right.
Scott Norton and Ice
Icy
Train.
Hot.
That's incorrect.
What? That's insane.
Some old
They
bullshit.
are pretty close though, but you are right.
Steady. Steady.
We're right
okay.
together. We're right in the heart.
Yeah. I mean, like you should be
I
correct.
mean,
Like it should be higher.
that's a different game.
I don't know why
That's a different
60
game.
different people set out to write things about Crocodile and Dragon together, but I salute them because your imaginations can take you in so many places.
It's not 60 people, it's one person 60 times.
Yes. Oh, speaking of which, again, I'm not here to yuck anyone's yums ever about anything. I was scrolling through AO3 trying to just find some random ships, and this one author I don't know if they like completed a manifesto while on a ship in the middle of the ocean and then came back to civilization, was like, I have to upload these 20 fics in a row. 20 different Ace Sabo fics in a row. I was like, whoa, that's dedication.
That
These are
is-
like 10K each. You wrote a novel.
There's
for you.
hyperfixation. That is like what's the prefix above hyper? It's yeah.
Concerning?
Mega fixation. Mega fixation. Yeah. Giga fixation.
Okay.
Terra
Trying to think
fix.
of- Okay, here we go. Zoe 101. Deuce and Ace, or Shanks and Marco.
Ooh.
Okay, so here I'm feeling like Shanks and Marco makes more sense, which makes me
agree.
think that it's actually the other one. because I don't know who the fuck Deuce
So
is. but,
so
like,
Deuce is the weird guy from the Ace
From the novel. Yeah.
He's
Okay.
like
Yeah.
Ace's first mate or something. I will say teenagers
he is.
are obsessed with him.
This
They
is
are
a
having several
legit.
Kenny moments.
They are
This is
obsessed
a
with being
legit
Ace's
tough
first mate.
one. I feel. Yes. This is legit tough because I feel like Marco and Shanks definitely have a big following as individual, on AO3. I think that's a safe bet. On the other hand, Ace, I feel like, is his own whirlwind. And the Ace Deuce thing does fit in what we previously discussed with the Fujoshi shipping. Joey, I'm going to leave this up to you. I feel like there's no wrong answer here, except the
I'm
wrong
gonna
There
say
is a
Ace
wrong
Deuce.
answer.
Oh,
You're
okay.
picking Ace Deuce?
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay.
Ah,
You got
nice.
one. Well, you've had one. So
we have two.
Two,
now.
2-0.
you have 2-0. If you guys get another one, you win. Eve. I'm trying to think of another way to combine your names. Not happening. Steady. I mean, that's the name of a ship
Stead,
for
Stead, and Steady.
Stranger Things. Stranger Things fans, shout out to you. I don't get it. Roger, Rayleigh, or Kobe and Drake.
Oh, sleepover friends.
Roger.
Oh, right. The sleepover friends. I forgot about that. We have that image. We are the ones who produced that fan fiction.
Roger and Rayleigh, right? Ed?
No, I mean, I feel like it,
Who likes Drake that much?
but like all that Roger
Rhea
and
is
Rayleigh
listening
stuff.
right now, and she's so sad.
Yeah,
I'm
I could
sorry,
hear
Rhea.
them.
I don't know. I feel like Kobe
I
is a favorite of the Fujoshi.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I feel like
did you see how Roger looked in Odin's
I feel like
flashback?
we should go younger and
They
sexier.
said Ivo.
Not old man.
You know,
I want to go with not Roger and Rayleigh, Kobe and Drake.
Steve, are you agreeing? Dissenting?
Well, I think like we can't be here all night, and I feel like my instincts have been wrong so far. So I'll go with Kobe and Drake.
I'm sorry, that is not correct.
Damn it!
Joey,
I
you're
was-
great at this.
Huh?
I said
Oh.
Joey's great at this.
Okay.
See, you're good at trivia. I want you to like trivia, Joey.
Trivia is a strong word for what we're doing right now.
I think this is mild torture.
I love it.
No, that's great.
Okay.
He likes
Make it
it
a hard
because it
one.
isn't.
Make it a
trivia.
hard
I'm trying
one.
to make it.
It's-
I'm actually trying to make it hard. Hold on. Okay. Nami and Robin, or Smoker and Ace, and a vintage. That one's
It's a very vintage.
Oh, don't they have like a fancy name, the two of them?
Smo Ace.
Oh, is it just
God, there's some really bad names.
I thought it was
Yeah.
something
Soon-
about smoke and fire.
You know
I-
what? Soon
I
you'll be at summer camp with Andy eating delicious hot smo aces. They're called s'mores, Buzz.
I
Yeah.
haven't heard. They might have a name. I haven't heard it in forever. You know.
It just seems like their powers are so like compatible.
Yeah.
And
Whereas
so wait,
nothing else about
it
them
was
is.
Robin and whom?
Oh, they have the cat and mouse thing. They're like the classic.
Yeah.
Like you watch Lupin. You know?
Wait, Robin and whom?
Nami and Robin or Smoker and Ace.
Nami and Robin. So this is the issue. Nami and Robin are both main characters. They're Straw Hats.
Yeah.
But they're against, this is the Fujoshi stronghold here. So do main characters win out against Fujoshi? Do we bet against the Fujoshi here for the
Pride
sake
Month?
of, well, they're both Pride.
Yeah. Sorry.
To be fair, everyone's gay here. Put that on a hat.
That's your next OPP merch.
Yeah, everyone's gay here. The One Piece podcast. What do you think, Joey? I think I'm
What do you
leaning
think?
Robin Nami.
Interesting.
I
Yeah.
like normally wouldn't bet against Fujoshi, but I do bet against the younger generation, and they know more. I'm sorry, do bet for the younger generation. I think Zoomers would relate more to Robin and Nami than why would they care about Smoker and
Yeah, with
and
them,
Ace?
I'm really drawn just kind of to the like imagery of the two powers that kind of complement each other.
Joey's so right here.
But I don't know if Vero is leading us in the wrong direction or in the right direction.
Oh, why would I ever? If I was
doesn't
Nami
convince me.
and Robin was on board,
I know.
It's
I
all
know.
over.
Vero,
Yeah.
I know.
You gotta end the show at some point.
Well,
yeah, I'm
that's
sorry.
fine.
Joey,
you
pick
pick this
it.
time since I picked last time. You can
Hey,
do the...
I'll pick Nami and Robin.
Okay.
That's correct. You win.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Good job.
Yay.
Horse shit.
Honorable mention that I really wanted to bring up was the 23 fics I found about Katakuri and Ichiji getting together. So shout out.
Boo.
Okay.
Why? No, everyone
out
could
to
do their
whoever's
own
writing that.
thing, but maybe don't. No, I'm kidding. It's fine. All right, so that's gonna do it. Next week on the One Piece podcast, we won't have a manga chapter, but we will have, I think, a double or triple anime recap. What are we up to at this point?
Well, since it's going to be a recap episode next week, so it's going to be the last three, I think.
Okay. We also have the first part of our interviews with Henry Thurlow and the premiere of our One Piece Netflix live action series. So, until then, my name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
We'll see you next week, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.